Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit our website at holybatcast.com or find us all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you'll find us. If you're a big fan of the show and you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast, and no pressure. It's all good. You don't have to do it. It's okay. But if you want to do it, the option is there. And we appreciate everybody who has taken that option, even though you know you don't have to do it. So I got to give a shout out to a new patron. The new patron is Brady Landry. Hey, Brady. I think it's Brady Landry. It says Brady's channel, but then I think in the email it's Brady Landry. The name sounds familiar. I feel like I remember Brady. Brady, you're awesome. Thank you. That is so nice of you, and we really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all our patrons. I know I say it every time, but I hope you know I mean it every time. You guys are awesome. So Brady, this one's for you, and this is a good one. It's going to be a fun one. So thank you, Brady, for your generosity, and thank you to all our patrons as well. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Twitter /X or Instagram or Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode has been coming for a while, but it's finally happening, guys. I'm knocking on wood because it hasn't happened yet. And hopefully it will. We're going to finally do our 15th anniversary commentary for The Dark Knight. It's been hard getting the stars to align to make this happen, but you know what? Here we are. Better late than never. So we're going to watch The Dark Knight. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be terrific. And joining me, I've got my two Bat pals. They made the time, and here we are, hanging out on a Friday night, watching The Dark Knight, as friends should. So first of all, he's back. It's Jamie Drewley. Hey, Jamie.
What's going on, everybody?
We couldn't do this without you.
I done threw my wife and daughter out of the house just so I could do this. So.
Oh, nice. Did you lock the door until you're done?
No, it's not going to be quite that severe, but it might if they come in here and start trying to jab in the middle of this movie, because this is kind of an important movie to me.
I've heard that about you.
Yeah.
I feel like I heard someone mention at some point that you kind of like this movie.
I'm kind of into it. I think
that's
it's
good.
Pretty solid.
It's not bad. Not to get ahead of ourselves. It's pretty not bad.
Not bad for a white guy dressing up in a black costume and beating people up, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we made it work. I'm glad we postponed last time. We missed you. But fortunately, we got the third leg of our Bat tripod. It's Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan.
How you going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad that Jamie and I could bury the hatchet for this episode. And
thank you guys for playing nice. Yes.
I'm just going to put it out there right now. The first negative word he says about this movie, he and I are at war again. Just that simple.
Great.
Honestly, I don't think there's going to be one. We've already done The Dark Knight Rises, so.
And yeah, this is not The Dark Knight Rises. It is The Dark Knight. But yeah, I mean, this has been like the toughest one to make happen. In a while. And part of it's my own fault because last weekend I had like no availability because of my birthday and everything. But oh man, God, we're working for it. So apologies to everyone out there that it has taken this long. But as you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. And glad we're finally making it happen. So
it is what it is. It's still in the calendar year. And look, this movie was still playing in theaters this time 15 years ago. So
that is correct.
It played for a minute.
So before we get to some more Dark Knight talk, we got to give a shout out to our pals over at Manscaped. So attention, my bearded beast friends from stubble to mane. If you didn't already, Manscaped now sells beard products and they want you to know about it. So you heard them, the leaders in below the waist grooming have changed the game with their Beard Hedger Pro Kit. And now they're going to go a step further with the brand new Handyman. It's an electric face shaver for a quick and convenient way to achieve a clean shaven look. So whether you're looking to sharpen up your neckline or give your face that smooth finish, the Handyman has you covered. So go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. So I finally got my Handyman, guys, and I am not disappointed. Manscaped has done it again. It's sleek. It is like the perfect size. It's like not too big, not too small, but it's like small enough that I could like toss it in my toiletry bag and take it traveling with me. And I used it on my neck just to clean up my neck because I didn't want to shave, and it worked. It was great. Had no issues. So I've been very happy with my handyman.
I can't argue. I got mine last week, and it's been fantastic. You talk about packing it for travel. I've literally put it in my toiletry bag this morning because we're going out of town pretty much as soon as we finish recording this episode because of my nephew's christening tomorrow. So, yeah, it's great. And like all the other Manscaped stuff, I don't need to take a cord. It doesn't need to be plugged in. It's fully charged. And if it's like the lawnmower, it's going to be charged for quite a while. So
yeah,
great.
They do come fully charged. And yeah, when I picked it up, I was just like, ooh, it's just like so sleek in my hand. And make sure you do it with the foil down, though, Brendan. Did you do it with the foil? Okay, good. Yes. That's important.
Yes,
you gotta do it the right way. But no, it's great because especially for like the mornings where like I'm just too groggy and I'm like, the idea of like shaving cream and a razor, I'm just like, oh, I just can't. This is a great alternative. And I'm not super hairy anyway, but like it's just enough to clean up the stubble, make it look like I shaved, and then get the heck out the door. So I like my handyman. So thank you to Manscaped for sending us one. I'm very happy.
I'll just throw my 2 cents in on this.
Go for it.
I started shaving when I was probably about 14 years old because I am King Kong in actual real life.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was 48 years old before I found an electric razor I could use.
Wow.
So yeah, this thing, I have to put a little work into it because, my face is kind of weird. I have very sensitive skin and very thick, coarse hair, but this thing works.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. Because I know you mentioned that you're like, yeah, like electric razors don't usually work for me. And I was like, well, no. We'll see.
Mostly it's just me wasting a lot of money. My son got one, I think, right in the middle of school break last year. And I tried using his and I made it about 1.5 inches down my face. And I was like, nope, that ain't happening. Yeah. And his was not a cheap throwaway kind of electric razor either. It was a nice one. So this one, it works.
That's great. Awesome. So guys, if you're out there, you got a beard or you just want a quicker way to shave, go to manscaped.com, look for the beard hedger. If you're a beard guy, I didn't get the beard hedger. I'll be honest with you, because I don't have like a full beard. I'm not a beard guy. But Eric Carter from The Fire Rises, he got it and he said it was great. And that was good to hear. I think Joe got one too. I think both of them got one. But yeah, because I don't keep a beard, I didn't feel the need for the beard hedger. Let's be real. Handyman, I'm very happy with. So go take a look. Go to manscaped.com. And again, use that promo code BATSCAPED. Get your 20% off and get your free shipping. You'll be happy and you're helping us out in the process. And so we would certainly appreciate that. So awesome. Thank you to Manscaped as always. And thank you to everybody out there who has already gone to Manscaped and used that promo code. Because without you guys doing that, without you making those purchases, they wouldn't keep sponsoring the show. And so I'm very grateful for you guys and I'm very grateful for that.
It's
now,
been nearly 2 years too. They've been a sponsor for a while now.
A little while.
People are doing the right thing and using that code. So thank you very much.
I do love every once in a while I'll get like a DM or an email or something where it's like, hey, just picked up something from Manscaped. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Not only thank you for doing it, but thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. Like, it makes me happy. And I don't feel bad recommending it because, again, I use it. So
exactly. I mean, I use their stuff every day. I think the products are very, very high quality. I think they're a good price. They're not the cheapest things you're going to find out there, but like anything else in life, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And they're also not like, premium, super high tier expensive either. They're just kind of like right in that middle area, but they work like anything. I mean, they're wonderful products. I can't say enough good things about them. And again, the biggest endorsement I can give to you guys is probably no less than once or twice a month. My wife tells me, you smell really good. And it's, guys, if that's not a sell right there, I don't know what is.
Can't beat it. All right. One quick other thing before we get moving. I just got to give a quick shout out here. I got an email from a listener and fan named Jeremy. Oh my God, I might mess up this. Jeremy Coronen, and he just wanted everybody to know that he just completed a Red Hood fan film. It's called Red Hood Outlaws, and it's on YouTube. And so he asked if I could give him a shout out. And you know what? Why the heck not, Jeremy? You put in the work. So, it's easy to watch stuff. It's easy to criticize stuff. It's much harder to make stuff. And so I got to give a shout out to Jeremy for doing it, making it happen. And so, yeah, if you guys out there are Red Hood fans or you like fan films, check out Red Hood Outlaws. And congrats to Jeremy and his whole team for making this thing and getting it out there. So well done, Jeremy, and keep it up.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about The Dark Knight. It's been 15 years and about a month. Actually, 15 years and exactly a month. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Yeah, he planned it that way. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So here we go. Without further ado, it is time to look back at Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight for its 15th anniversary. All right, guys, it's that time. Let's queue up our movies here, and as we've done in the past, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit play, and as soon as the WB logo fills the screen, we'll pause because sometimes there's like a little extra black in front of some people's versions. I'm watching mine on iTunes. I know Jamie is, so we should be in sync. Brendan's got to be close. But again, instead of starting at 00, which we've done, and sometimes it's been off, I'm gonna hit play. And I'm going to wait for that WB logo to fill the screen. And it's doing it right now. It's kind of doing the animation and filled the screen and pause. And I'm at 11 seconds, guys.
Do you have 2:32:06 remaining?
Wait, I just had to rewind because it didn't pause for me. There we go. 2:32:06. Yep, correct.
Perfect. We're synced.
All right. So got that WB logo. And it looks fabulous. And Brendan, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. 11 seconds.
All right. So everybody at home, if you're going to watch it with us, if you're an overachiever and you actually watch the movie with us, bonus points, because good for you. You're cool. I know a lot of people just listen, and frankly, I tend to do that too, because
nobody got time that well.
Exactly. But for anybody who's actually queuing it up, you guys are awesome. So yeah, we're at 11 seconds. And again, it's right as the WB logo fills the screen in that cool blue-gray tone. And then we everybody's volume's down, subtitles on.
Yep.
Great. And here we go. We're going to hit play in 3, 2, 1. There we go. A Time Warner Company. Warner Brothers Pictures. Oh, the legendary logo. That takes me back. There we go.
I like the old DC logo too.
Oh, I do too.
I was a fan of this one. I do like the current one. I hated the one in between. But
the little toilet seat one?
Yeah, I like this one with the
I hate saying that
because
that was it's so reductive, but you know what I mean? Like, it was supposed to be like the flap of a comic, but it looked like someone said toilet seat, and I could never unsee it. I always loved the way the Nolan films open with just the logo, just a stylized version of the logo. No title. So cool. And that blue flame, burned into my brain.
Fun fact, I saw this in the theater so many times, I actually knew exactly which window was going to blow out here.
I was that way.
To this day, that shot blows me away because of how far back it starts and then zooms in that window blows. I still, to this day, I'm just like, that's so cool. It's so good. Did you guys know this was the Joker the first time you saw this?
No.
I think I'd read a fair bit about the prologue from when it was in front of I Am Legend, because I was just into everything like I said in the last episode I was on. So I think I knew, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I don't think I did. Now it's so hard to put myself back in that mind space, but I also, my mind was blown the first time someone pointed out the Joker's mask was an homage to a mask from Batman 66.
Which is very cool.
So cool. And this is, I mean, I talked about it a little bit on our Memories episode is, I don't even want to say concern, but I wondered how much Nolan would lean into the comic book side of the Joker for this movie based on Batman Begins. And as soon as I saw this opening and everyone was wearing clown masks, I was like, okay, great. I'm good. It doesn't take a lot. I just love that it's like, well, if they're going to be robbing a bank and they've got to wear a disguise, why not clown masks?
Yeah,
And I consider these so iconic now at this point.
they're
Agreed.
fantastic.
I remember like going to WB and there was a display and they had all of these masks like in a case together, and it almost looked like the Queen Bohemian Rhapsody with them all.
Yeah, I never saw that prologue. The only thing I ever saw in this was trailers and TV spots.
Oh, wow. So you didn't see this until opening night?
No,
Wow.
no, I did not.
Lucky.
You know, the images that got burned into my head beforehand were the Joker riding with his head outside of the cop car, and
Yeah.
you know, a couple of lines of dialogue here and there, and that was pretty much it. And none of this. Like, I know you were talking about how sick you were of this because you watched it so many times, but you know, I saw this 10 times in the theater, and that was it. You know, before, and there was nothing leading up to it where I caught a glimpse of really any of this.
Well, that's good. I mean, and sick of it is harsh, but again, I just watched.
You know,
I watched it so many times because it was on Batman Begins, and I just couldn't help myself. And I definitely thought William Fichtner was going to have a larger role in the movie, and it's really just this little cameo at the beginning.
I freaking love that guy.
He's great.
He's
He's great.
Sorry to be a bother. Can you just tell me what timestamp you're up to? Because my subtitles weren't working, so I had to stop and
356, 357, 358.
hang on.
4 minutes. Where did you learn to count? That guy using sneakers to open the safe.
Okay. Where are you up to now?
Oh my God. 415.
Tell me when you hit 434.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Jamie, I told you we should have just done it with us. No wonder
I'm
you hate him.
sorry. I'm sorry.
All
Well,
right.
we're waiting for Brendan to get caught
Wait,
up. With the rest of
428,
us here.
429, 430. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
3, 4. That'll do.
You mentioned that this got re-released in IMAX later in its theatrical run, or like re-released for a theatrical run. I actually made a 4-hour round trip to go see this in a real IMAX theater.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
And that was my 10th time seeing it. And this is
That's-
still the movie that I've seen the most in the theaters at 10.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
I've
want to
always
say it was like in the
noticed-
fall. I think it was like,
That's correct, because I wore a coat when we went. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah, like before all the big Christmas movies, maybe.
Actually,
like,
it might have been in like January that I saw it come to
you know what? That might be right. That sounds
Because I
familiar.
think
It's
it
like
was
leading
around
up,
Oscar time.
yeah, leading up to the award season. I bet you're right. Is like after kind of the dead zone of January. That, yeah.
I have always noticed from the second the bus crashes into the bank, his hair's just that little bit greener than what it was beforehand.
Yeah.
I can still remember seeing this first shot of him taking the mask off and just being like, "Oh my God."
So sexy. But even that little flourish of the like is such a great moment. I also love the way the thread pulls out from the back of his coat.
Yes.
I think it's kind of subtle, but I think it's really cool.
Did you see the meme that was going around the other day that was somebody dressed as Ledger's Joker, but it was in the Ronald McDonald colors?
There's an action figure of that.
Is there really?
Yeah, Google.
This
it.
guy
Like,
was at like a con or something, and his hair was orange, the suit was yellow, and he had the jacket open with his thumb around the grenade pin string. But instead of being attached to grenades, there were 6 cheeseburgers inside of his coat.
awesome. And this right here is just
I love that. I love that. They're booking it. You got a better
Yeah.
chance of winning the lottery than.
it's just great storytelling of like, we're picking up after Batman Begins, and here's where we are now. Is the legend is out there, everybody knows him, the cops are supposed to be chasing him, they're not,
Elvis, Lincoln, and Bigfoot are the suspects.
Love
That's
that shot of
great.
Gordon.
Yeah. I remember hearing that they were going to make this Renee Montoya, but because towards the end, when you realize that she's on the take, they didn't want to do that to the character.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think at that stage too, had Montoya just taken over the mantle of the Question, or it would have been like around that time.
Oh man,
So
I
that
don't
would
know.
have been like 2006 or 7, and this came out in 08. So
This guy, the Russian, I don't know the actor's name, but oh my god, that's like a small part, but he's so memorable and so entertaining.
So we have to watch these training videos at work by this company that I don't even understand, but like the lead guy that we watch that does most of the videos looks almost exactly like him. The slick back hair, the goatee. Like, I'm just waiting for that guy to start talking about his dogs being hungry one time.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I was so happy in the theater. And again, it was rumored that the Scarecrow would make an appearance, but this moment I was like, oh, like I just love that connection of picking up where
Yes.
we left off with Begins and moving forward. I love that in Begins he was still out there, and now we know where he's been.
This threw me when I first saw it. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Why does Bale look so chubby? What's he been eating? Maybe he's been eating some of the Joker's Happy Meals.
God, I love so much of this movie, but this sequence. So, real quick, I love that. And then it'll say loiter, and then it'll say intimidate.
Intimidate. Yep.
Yes, I love
I
it.
I
can't.
wonder how it gets in. Are they on the ground level of the car park, or
We saw it jumps
We've
across
established that thing
rooftops.
can jump rooftops.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose.
I can't find the intimidate function on my Mazda. Jamie, do you know where it is?
My Lincoln Hybrid certainly doesn't have one. I know that
Okay.
much.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame.
But yeah, I almost didn't make the trip to see this movie because usually I travel in packs with my friends, and I really liked Begins a lot. Like I loved it. I would go so far as to say I loved it. But the night this movie came out, I was like tired, and I came home from work, and it was like 9:30, and I'm like, oh, screw it, I'll just go see it later this weekend. Not that big of a deal. I'll catch up to it. And like at 10:15 or 10:30, I realized I couldn't go to sleep. So I was just like, screw it, and got up and went to the theater. And I'm sitting there in line because back then we had to do things like savages. You had to get in line and sit down
Yeah.
on the floor against a
Mhm.
wall. And the showing was at 12:01 a.m. And I'm watching Begins on my iPad or my iPod, excuse me, on the tiny little screen of an
Yeah.
iPod. And the theater doors open, and I'm sitting there. This is one of my favorite Batman moments of all time, by the way, right here. It's so
Well,
simple, but it's so perfect.
just going to
I'm
say,
not
was this
gonna
shot
argue.
here, like the
Boom,
split
right
second
there.
of that shot in the trailer? That's how people worked out Scarecrow was in it, but I could never see it.
Oh,
And then
really?
when I saw him get out of the van, I was like, oh crap, it is him. Like I was really excited.
The "not my diagnosis" line is great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I will say, much like Batman Begins, one of the things I love about that movie and this movie is the first, I don't know, 15 minutes. It just has this incredible energy, and it just moves, and it has this really great momentum that sucks you in immediately. And it's great in Begins. And I think it's the same thing here, where you're like, oh man, and we are in it, and we are off to the races. And yeah, you're all in.
Love this. Batman showing up at the crime scene and
Mm-hmm. And that's such a great photo of the Joker.
yeah.
And I love that he starts the movie in the Begin suit. I think that's so great too. And then you see him change it as the movie goes. And it's, I love that it's
because
written in.
they give a practical reason why he's changing it, not to sell action figures.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably why they did it, but
It's also great. And something I love about this movie is how everyone underestimates the Joker until it's too late.
Yep.
And so this scene is just so good of like, yeah, great. We'll deal with him when we get the time. But right now the mob is the priority.
I found that to be a tremendous touch watching it because I was so focused on it. I was so, taken in by the opening robbery sequence. And then by the time we got to the Batman in the parking garage sequence, I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like laser focused on everything. And the fact that he shows him a picture of the Joker, they know this guy's out there from the end of Begins. And they're just like, he's a problem, but we'll deal with him later. We got
and because we're in on it though. Like we know how much of a problem he is, and seeing them not get it yet is a really interesting way to handle it.
Well, it is, but I will say this: that like, yes, we know obviously he's the Joker. He's the big bad in the movie, but the first viewing, even I wasn't prepared with how scared I was going to be of him.
He's a pretty intimidating
he
guy.
is like, as the movie escalates, like, yeah, like I think it even the biggest Batman fans were like, holy shit, they're not messing around. I remember when this movie came out on Blu-ray, they did one of those live watch-alongs with Christopher Nolan. And it was all like in text, where it was like people would like message questions and he would answer them in real time, and we were watching it. And in that moment, just a few seconds ago, where Alfred walks in with the tray into the high rise, one of my questions got through, and it was why didn't you use the Batcave in this film? And Christopher Nolan said, well, they're still rebuilding it from Begins, and I wanted to do a nod to the 70s comics where Bruce was living in a high rise in Gotham. And I just was, that was like my little moment, my little brush where he answered my question on the live stream.
So you can call him Chris.
He's over for Christmas now, then, right?
We're
old friends. I mean, he would certainly remember.
I've surely read comics from that era at some point or another, but I have no recollection of him residing downtown.
I do. Like it was, I don't think it was a huge era, but yeah, I that rung a bell. And I also like the Bat Bunker because it essentially is the Batcave. It's just in a different spot in Gotham, and it would make sense that Batman might have a backup base of operations somewhere else in the city.
Well,
I'm going to go on record right now. I know some people have thrown some flack in this direction over the last 15 years, but I love Maggie Gyllenhaal. I think she's lovely. I think she's a great actress. And, a lot of people say, I wish Katie Holmes would have, stayed in the part for this movie. No, I wish Maggie Gyllenhaal would have had it in the first movie. That's just me.
No, I agree. I think most people agree that Maggie was a better Rachel. I think so. Again, I've said it both ways, and for me, it's the continuity in me. But she's great in this movie.
I'm the same. Like, I want it to be Katie Holmes in this because it was Katie Holmes in the original. But the way Jamie said it too, if in a perfect world, it would have been Maggie in both.
For sure, exactly. I also love that Harvey Dent's intro is a nod to his comic book origin. I think that's so brilliant.
I mean, I was sitting here waiting for this guy to pull out the acid and throw it on him right here.
Oh, really? You thought it was going to happen?
I thought it was just going to happen right here because he's in a courtroom. The mob boss is in there. The mob testimony is happening on the stand. I figured this is where it goes down.
Well, see, I was still in the mindset of the rumors that we'd been hearing early on is that the transformation would be late in the movie and he would carry on to be the big bad in the third one.
Well, keep in mind,
in some
I was not paying attention to the chatter of this.
Okay.
Well, I will just say, like, I didn't think that was going to happen. And it wasn't even because, I mean, yes, I heard what you heard, Brendan, but I think it's also because we had seen enough trailers and stuff where I knew he had more than one scene unscarred, like there was quite a bit of him where you're like, okay, he's obviously Harvey for a chunk of the movie.
Yeah, but no, I was expecting and I mean, I'm not going to lie, part of me still would have preferred it to see it play out that way, where you have a full-on Batman Two-Face movie as the third one. But anyway. Because I mean, he does some effed up stuff, but he's only Two-Face for
a day.
A day or so? Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Just the quiet conversations that happen in here are so relevant and so important.
Yes.
Like they're talking about how he marked the bills with the irradiation stuff. And, Harvey's got the nickname that he's known by the people at the MCU, the original MCU, mind you.
I love the way Gordon does. I wouldn't know anything about that.
He has all of his
so good.
His stock answers to all of these questions because that's just
Yeah, and like if you've got a problem with faulty equipment or something, like
pick it up with maintenance. Yep.
But I love that we've got the new DA and we see how he now fits into the world and into the picture. He and Rachel. he and Gordon, how there's this new tenuous relationship where he wants in, but Gordon doesn't trust him enough to let him in. And
which, given the previous movie, is completely understandable.
yeah. Well, and even like laying the seeds here where Dent doesn't trust Gordon or his people, and Gordon doesn't trust Dent.
Mm. Gotham's White Knight. Here it is.
Down at MCU. Is
I
it
love
Captain
the delivery
America?
of that line.
Wayne Tower. This is my nitpick. I just wish it looked like the same Wayne Tower from Begins.
Didn't that one get destroyed?
No.
By the subway thing?
I mean, area around it did, but the building itself didn't.
I mean, literally, the thing crashed into the foundations underneath it.
It was standing when the movie ended.
Yeah. Maybe it was unsafe and they had to move.
This little wiener.
Although, I'm glad he's there, because at the end of, watching Batman Begins, I'm just like, this stuff belongs to Wayne Enterprises. Like, how is nobody calling that out? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they address it in this movie, I was just like, okay, wow. Like, I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, this is one of those movies that's very complex. There's a lot going on, but I think it's so like deftly balanced.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, when the movie came out and I was obsessed with it, and everybody, like we said, you were the Batman guy or the Dark Knight guy, so everybody wanted to talk to me about this. But a lot of people were like, you know what, I really liked it, but it was just a little too long. And I was like, I never had that problem because I was like just mesmerized by everything happening. And it's one of those where like, more is more. And I just was happy for every little subplot and every little moment. And so, yeah, I could see someone making the case for Mr. Reese. Oh, do we really need it? But like you said, I like that it addresses what would otherwise be considered a plot hole.
So people that talk about Nolan being dry and there's no humor and these are joyless movies and all this stuff. The joke about he wasn't finished interrogating the witness after he punches him and takes the gun away. The conversation about the dog, it was a really big dog. Just the back and forth right there. The joke about the suit being a little 90s and backing out of the driveway would be easier. I mean, it's got humor. It's just not, hunch over, slap your thigh, laugh at it humor. It's subtle humor. Or
it
quieter,
is like,
toned down.
Absolutely. There's a certain amount of wit to the dialogue that you're right. I don't think no one gets enough credit for. And you're right. It's not like LOL punchlines, but there is a levity and there is a fun to it. There's a little bit of swagger to everything.
So my one tiny little nitpick that I can throw out right here, not that I ever want to criticize anything about this film, I feel like Bale's hair looks longer in this scene than it does in any other scene in the film.
I've never really noticed.
Wow. I just think you're jealous.
You just haven't watched this movie as much as I have. That's all it is. Maybe he just used more product here. I don't know. And again, talk about being nitpicky about something. I just kind of always wondered if this was like a reshoot or a pickup somewhere else.
Wasn't done
at the same time.
It's never crossed my mind. He looks great. Look at him. Looks like $1 million. Looks like $1 billion.
I just love the dimple on Aaron Eckhart's chin.
Oh my God. It's so big you could soak your feet in it.
I've got one on my chin, a little bum chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess said the first day we met she wanted to stick her pinky in it.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, if you would have asked, I would have let you.
Brendan proposed right then and there.
You know what I want to stick in it?
Your thumb.
Yeah, my thumb. It's bigger than a pinky.
I remember after seeing this the first time, every other time I saw it in the cinema, just like sitting forward in my chair a little bit.
Yeah.
This is legit one of my favorite sequences in the whole film.
It's one of my favorite sequences in any movie. Like, you're right. As soon as you see them walking into this room, I start leaning forward.
Here we go.
Yep. Like, oh, it's coming.
This is the most reserved Eric Roberts has ever been in his career, by the way.
What a weird pull.
It
Eric
is. It
Roberts.
is. But I think we talked about that with Begins as well, or maybe it was with Rises. I can't remember. But I always loved how Nolan he picked these well-known but like somewhat random actors to give them these supporting roles, like Rutger Hauer in Begins, or Matthew Modine in Rises. And
I
here
just
it's
even including those two, I always felt like Eric Roberts was like still a bit of a rung below those guys, if that
I
makes
mean,
sense. Like a bit more B
somewhat,
movie.
but
Eric
that's what's
Roberts
so
worked
great is that
very consistently in the 1980s and early
Oh, I
90s.
know, but
I
Very
mean, he did
consistent.
a lot of straight to video stuff, and that's no
Yeah.
disrespect because I like him. But you're right, like it's unexpected, but he's great in the movie.
he is.
Yeah.
He's shockingly great, and so I love that.
So is Michael Jai White, who is mostly known for like D-grade kung fu movies
And Spawn.
Spawn,
and
Bronze
Spawn.
Tiger.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here comes A Knight's Tale.
That's the Patriot, dude. What are you talking about?
God, he looks good in this scene.
Yeah, he does. He looks amazing.
And this was the moment where we're all just
The
like,
magic trick. Oh my
okay.
God.
Oh.
Wham! It's gone.
Yeah, the whole theater. I think the whole theater erupted in applause because it was just, so good.
You ought to know you bought it. Yup.
It is a good.
I just love the fact that Gamble's ready to just snap his neck on sight every single time he sees him, and he just always gets put back in his place.
This was like the first real time we'd heard him talk too.
Mhm,
Like
yep.
really talk.
What happened? Did your balls fall off?
Mm-hmm.
And the little ticks, we're seeing all that for the first time. He's so good.
Well, and it's so like perfectly paced. I love this face right there where he kind of looks, where he's like a freak and he gives him that look is one of my favorite moments. But yeah, it's so well teased during the prologue. You get the quick reveal and you get the little bit of the moment, but then this scene where he just owns the screen.
I feel like if you were going to give him the award for one scene, this has to be the one you gave it to him for.
Absolutely.
And he's fantastic throughout the film. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he has a weak point in any time in the film, but some people have actually criticized it, like he moves his mouth and licks his lips and all that stuff too much. And I feel like he's so expressive. It's what makes him menacing and unsettling and so unusual. People are saying that he was like overacting, and I do not agree with that in the least.
Well, that's just it's the smaller moments, it's the ticks, it's the details, it's those things that make the performance so special.
Well, I mean, it's the Joker, so he has to be larger than life to a degree. But yeah, it's the smaller things that he does with it that gives it that brevity and depth. It's just like, yeah, we'd never seen anything like it, and we won't again, I don't think.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those double-edged swords because he is so good in this and he made such an impression that I feel like every Joker who has come since, like they're almost overdoing it because they're trying to live up to this. And you know what I mean? Does that?
Yeah, I get it.
No,
and the thing that's
totally
funny too is the lead up to this movie, it was all about Nicholson. And ever since this movie came out, Nicholson doesn't really get even a mention anymore. When it's like when somebody else gets cast as a Joker, it goes straight to Ledger. Like it's all anyone talks about anymore. And look, that's not to say anything, I'm not talking bad of Nicholson, but he kind of wiped the floor with him in this movie. Like
that feels like a bit much. That
it is, because there was actually some Oscar chatter for Nicholson in this.
I mean, in terms of just like the discussion after the film, like I said, everyone that's come after Nicholson doesn't really get mentioned anymore. It's all Ledger.
My preference is for Ledger, but anybody that wants to say Nicholson's their favorite, I'm never going to put up a fight against him and tell them why
Nicholson's
they're wrong.
Great.
Well, and I think that's just it. Is you've got those two amazing performances, and hell, I'll throw Cesar Romero in there with them. Like they're all so different, but they're all so great, and they're all so Joker. And like, I didn't hate Leto, I didn't hate Joaquin Phoenix, but to me, neither of them quite reached these heights, and I think that they were trying too hard to. Not even top Ledger, but try to get out from under that shadow.
And Nicholson's still the closest we've ever had to comic book Joker.
Yeah.
I would say Romero actually is.
I mean, in a big screen Hollywood movie, aside from obviously the '66 film, but
And I also love this whole opening with Mr. Lau, because again, it shows like it's about the mob, it's about their money, it's about Mr. Lau, and Bruce is just blissfully ambivalent to what the Joker's doing. All of his concentration is on the wrong thing, and when he finds that out, it's going to bite him in the ass. Thank God for Lucius Fox. He's got an answer for everything. Thank God.
just thinking too, it's something I've honestly never really thought before with the couple of scenes with Bale in the Begins suit, because Bale is significantly slimmer in this movie than he was in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they shot those scenes early or if they made a smaller Begins suit to fit him, or
I mean, I don't think it had been a couple of years, so I don't think he was still at his Begins bulkiness anyway. So I do wonder, did they just put him in the same one and shoot it so you couldn't really tell? It's kind of hard to tell.
I mean, he's changed his body type so drastically, from the
Several
Machinist and Batman Begins and the Fighter, all this stuff. He's so drastically changed his body type. I think a doctor actually told him, if you don't knock that shit off, you're going to kill yourself early.
Yeah. I think that was after American Hustle, because he gained all that weight.
I love how the shot in the newspaper article of him here is from when he was in the fountain at the hotel.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah, because it would be a pap shot.
Oh, yeah. I never understood why Alfred is annoyed that he has to rub suntan
I was just
lotion
about to say that
on the ballerinas. Why is this a frustration for him? Alfred, enjoy the spoils, my friend.
Well, I guess we don't know the way Alfred swings in this movie.
That's true,
series, but it's just like
he's like, God, this is hell. My hands are so tired from rubbing lotion on all these women.
Another fantastic scene.
So I have a theory, and I'm completely making it up, but my theory is that this is one of the first scenes that Ledger shot, because I always felt like his makeup is off in this scene. So I feel like the performance is there, but to me, the makeup looks slightly different.
It looks dirtier.
Yeah. And again, I'm just projecting, but I like here, he looks a little different. And it's like, oh, did they do this first before they quite honed in on the final look?
I love how he spins the yarn every single time.
Yeah.
And it's different every single time.
I love this because, I mean, for all the reasons you said, but I love this because it's almost like Nolan and Ledger and Goyer, they were toying with the audience, because there was this whole debate about, will he give the Joker an origin? And so in this scene, they tease us and going, yep, we're going to give the Joker an origin. And then they're going to go, just kidding. No, we're not.
I was just going to say too, before the scene ends, I don't know if you guys remember, there was even a bit of a brouhaha about this scene before the movie came out, because word had gotten out that there's a scene in the film where the Joker is in a body bag. And obviously what happened to Heath, and seeing Heath brought out in the body bag from the hotel.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Do you remember that? So, yeah, it was a big deal about this scene too. Yeah. Not really a body bag, but I guess,
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
This scene also kind of drove me nuts, because even early on, it was a big point of criticism of, how did cutting him in the mouth like that make him die? I'm like, you're the same people that have bitched for 25 years about Wolverine's claws not gutting somebody the instant they go into them, and blood spray going every place. It's like there is a level they're trying not to cross by showing you the specific
his throat, to be perfect.
Yeah. That's my headcanon is he lowers the knife and slashes his throat. That's the way I always.
Exactly. It could be any number of things, but the fact of the matter is, it's left to your mind. It's not a graphic visual thing. Yeah. Just like the Wolverine claws things. It's never bothered me that, Logan everybody's like, finally we get to see Wolverine chop people up into little pieces. I'm like, I've read X-Men comics for my entire life, and I don't recall more than like 2 of them that had ever had that kind of visual depiction in it, and I've been fine with it. So I don't know why people jump on that kind of stuff all the time.
This is really the only part that ages this movie is the phones.
The phone. Yeah. Well, at this point, that ages almost every movie.
It does.
I do feel like that is why so many people have gone to, earlier eras in pre-cell phone technology, like the 70s and 80s, so they don't have to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But even this whole plan of having two cell phones, so he turns one in and like setting it up so Bruce can come in later, like it's really brilliant. I really love it.
So about the fifth time I saw this, I took my dad to see it. And as we were walking out of the theater, I just looked at him and smiled and said, "What'd you think?" And he said, "If I sat down in front of a typewriter for, I forget what time, he said like 5 years, I don't think I could have written this movie."
Yeah.
There was so much going on in this movie.
Nope, there really is.
But it never seems overstuffed or overly busy.
No, that's what I said. Like the balance and the way that he juggles all these balls, it's masterful.
Whereas I do think Rises, as much as I love Rises, is a victim of its own ambition at times. I don't feel like this one ever reaches those levels.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And again, like you understand it because it was trying to do a lot. And you're right. It maybe does try just a little too much. And this one makes it look easy.
Such a good sequence here too.
Shot.
Oh my God. Yeah. And this shot in IMAX, you're just like, oh.
It's actually Bale up there too.
Sure is. That man put in work for this role. Never let anybody tell you different.
Suck it, Tom Cruise. I'm just kidding. Tom Cruise would just like rappel off that building. And then they'd be like, "We weren't running the camera." And Tom Cruise would be like, "I know. I just wanted to go down."
It's for me.
Batman never uses guns.
That's
the little goo bullet or the little goo bombs is so cool too.
It's random, but I love the way when the lights go out, the way Lau, he kind of does this like crack of his neck. I don't know why. It always stood out to me. It's like a weird, I think like, it's something the actor would have decided to do and it just works.
He's very good too. And I've seen him in other things. And like, yeah, he makes an impression. And I really like Mr. Lau.
He went into the MCU, didn't he?
Did he?
He's in Captain America Winter Soldier, I want to say, is like one of the...
Oh, maybe?
One of the bosses or something.
I just saw something with him in it the other day and I can't remember what it was.
He got a lot of work after The Dark Knight.
Shh. Batman gliding. Shh.
That. Just love the way he does that.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the whole sequence where they did the live musical accompaniment at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was awesome. It was epic. See, now that we are watching it, and I'm enjoying it all over again, but I'm sad that I can't hear it, I'm going to have to like watch it later this weekend with audio.
You know how in Batman movies, there's just sometimes there's shots where he just looks really good, like as opposed to other shots in the movie. I mean, Batman always looks good, you know what I mean? But just like there's some shots where he looks great. It's coming up here where he's holding Lau. I don't know, there's just something about the look on his face and the silhouette. Like he just looks badass. He looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan can't shoot a fight sequence.
I love that he drags him by his foot like a rag doll. That makes me so happy because it's like that's how powerless Lau is. And I love the sequence aside from it just being badass. But again, it's like, oh, Batman is just like running circles around these clowns. He came to Hong Kong and gets this guy out without breaking a sweat, which again just makes it that much more devastating when the Joker starts getting the best of him.
It's coming up here where he's waiting for the plane.
Well, you know what it is, Andy. And
I don't
God, this
know.
is going to sound. It's
Am I
going to
afraid
sound.
to ask?
It's so utterly cliche, but all of this is the result of Batman's prep time. Until
Okay.
the end of the movie, he has no real prep time to deal with what he's actually dealing with in the Joker.
Sorry, the moment when they pull him out and the music crescendos, I can just hear it.
So speaking of that IMAX trip, that was the first time I ever actually saw people silhouetted in the back of that plane at that moment.
Ah,
That's such a Batman moment, tying up a criminal and leaving on the doorsteps of the police station.
yep. I like his bedhead too. I mean, like he's like so put together. He's got an answer for everything, and then Batman gets a hold of him, and he's passed out and with bedhead in front of the police headquarters. But she is so good in these scenes, because she just commands so much more maturity, and she has so much more, I think, presence than what we got from Katie Holmes in Begins. And again, I think Katie Holmes gets a bad rap in Begins, but Maggie Gyllenhaal just has a certain extra level of presence.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with Katie Holmes, but Maggie's a superior actor.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
And here, where she is intimidating Lau, she's very good. And yeah, this is someone who knows exactly what she's up to.
Is this when everybody learned what a RICO case is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
damn well it's when I learned what it was.
Which is coming in handy right now.
Yeah. Good with calculation.
Just because of the way his left eye kind of is shaped, I think of him as like a young Victor Wong.
Mm.
And I have that fresh in my head because I just watched Big Trouble in Little China yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Did you know I was yesterday years old when I learned Dan Inosanto was in that movie?
Who?
The guy that Richard Citrone went to California to train with.
Oh, okay. See, the Russian, he's so good. Like, it's fine. We have to hide that. We have to hire the clown.
So Eric's Emma's dad, isn't he?
Oh, I think so.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
believe that is correct.
And obviously
Julia's brother, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy who ends up, being the cop who put him down into the cop car, the one who later on is watching the Joker in the cell. I saw that guy at Taste Chicago in Burbank, California.
Huh.
And like, it was like the place.
You saw a lot of people there.
Yes, exactly. For like random celebrity sightings because it was owned by Joe Mantegna. And that cop, I was like, oh my God, it's the cop from The Dark Knight. I don't know his name, but it's him. I also love that Batman Wells is the mayor. That's awesome. Like another one, much like Eric Roberts, unexpected, but great casting. He's really good.
I can't remember where it was. Someone referred to him as like Mayor Eyeliner.
Yeah. Sounds like Kevin Smith.
Might have even been a Kevin Smith thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like
some people have that natural dark around. The former quarterback of the Raiders, current quarterback of the Saints, has that same thing, and they tease him all the time. They call him Maybelline and all kinds of stuff.
He has super thick lashes and it looks like eyeliner.
Yeah. Nestor Carbonell, isn't that his name?
Yeah, I love him.
Because he was in Bates Motel.
Oh my God, yeah.
I still haven't watched that. I need to watch that series.
It's really good.
Yeah, I know. It's a time commitment to watch it, but
yeah.
And how much do we all shit ourselves
with what's about to happen?
Yeah,
well, I know. This moment is like the turn. This is the moment where I feel like the entire audience is now gets thrown off because yes, we get a freaking jump scare that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think it was the third or fourth time I saw this before I was actually ready for that to happen.
Yeah. Because you're so sucked into this conversation between them, you never saw it coming. And then, we're not in Kansas anymore. Everything's about to change.
Even this, I mean, this Joker plan is insanely well thought out.
Well, there's a reason that he wants half the money. You don't just get to demand that kind of money and put in a half-ass effort.
Well, he has cheap tastes like gasoline.
Here we go.
Oh God.
Now gasoline's the most valuable commodity there is.
He would have needed all of it to do the plan these days.
This scene. Oh my God, it is just shivers.
You really do. Oh God, that just sent chills up my spine saying it myself.
I love the shh. Oh,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh,
Or when he's like, it sounds like he's having fun, and then he just look at me, and you're like,
yes.
oh my God, like it's terrifying.
Clenched up tension on Bale's face was a nice reaction to it there too.
Bale is a great Bruce Wayne. He looks so good.
Mm-hmm. I remember the "I'm a man of my word" was in that initial teaser.
Teaser trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is very old school Joker.
Yeah.
Announcing to the world what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm. And our requisite gala in every Batman movie. We always need a gala.
Bit of a foreshadowing here. Known Rachel her whole life, not yet so.
But soon.
I remember that was in a lot of the trailers with the antipsychotic ex-boyfriends. Oh, you have no idea.
This takes me to the opening night of Dark Knight Rises. I think Milks was there with me. And there was this crew of people. There was probably 8 or 9 of them, and they dressed up in various costumes. And one was, of course, dressed as Batman. And he would we sat down like 2.5 hours before the movie started. And like every half hour or so, he would just like run into the theater and go, "Where's Rachel?" And then he would leave. It was pretty funny.
Rachel.
It's funny because I believe in Harvey Dent, because that was such a part of the viral marketing and just the marketing in general. I thought it was going to be a bigger part of the movie.
It's not.
It's not
in it really at all. No.
It's mentioned here, but it's, when the movie starts, he's already elected. So all that stuff is in the past. So it's so fun how they use that to build up to the movie. And then we kind of pick up right there.
And we know exactly what Bale's talking about. Like when he references it, it just, we know what it is. And it's not in the movie at all to this point. I love watching Bale play the role of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And the moment of him throwing the champagne over the edge is, it's great. It's subtle, but it's perfect.
This is a hard movie for me to do commentary on because I'm so focused on.
Because you just want to watch it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't. You can watch it later.
Right.
God, she's got beautiful eyes.
Do you think by this point she knows she's not going to be with Bruce?
I think she's made up her mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
She's stringing him along a bit.
I also feel like Aaron Eckhart is one of the best actors that almost nobody ever talks about. Like the guy is always solid, even when he's in a lesser movie.
Yeah.
Like my introduction to him was Aaron Brockovich, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And I thought he was so damn good in that. So when I found out he was going to be in a Batman movie, I was like, shit, yeah, I'm in on that.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they get Dent's DNA onto the card?
Never thought about it.
Trash for all I know.
Yeah.
Suppose.
It's one of those details that's probably not all that important, but people are going to criticize every little thing they can. You, Brendan, I just put you on the list.
Oh, you guys are fighting again.
Just asking the question.
I'll tell you, this commissioner, he wasn't very nice in Begins, and so I'm not that sad when he dies. She seems cool, so I'm bummed about her. But even
I
this
love-
cross-cutting, like this escalation of this cross-cutting of
Yes.
the gala, and then what's happening, and them trying to protect the commissioner and the judge, like this, it's the ramping up of the suspense and the tension in the sequence is masterful.
I was just about to say the same thing. The way it's building
Yeah.
is really good.
Well, I mean, and even the commissioner, they don't confirm how they got his DNA, but they, they throw out options. And I think that's the same thing with Dent. He's a public figure. It's easy
Yeah.
to follow him. I will say, like, her opening it up and it just says up is like, it never, to
and
me,
she
quite
literally
connects.
looks up before it happens.
Yeah,
too.
it never quite connects the way like where that I think they intended it to. Because I think it's sort of like, it'll tell you where you're headed up. I don't know. I just, to me, I always felt like it never quite gelled.
Yeah, maybe they thought it was too cliche to put hell or something like that.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think that, like, because they ended up putting in so much footage between them saying that and her opening it, that, like, the connection gets lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so great, so effortlessly, just Bruce walking right up and doing what he wanted to, and just like the thousands of playing cards blown up in her car is so badass.
That's what you get for driving a Mercedes.
Here comes car guy.
And we know the story about this with Ledger walking out of the elevator with Michael Caine.
I don't remember.
The story is, I don't know if it's ever been confirmed or not, but the story is that apparently he had a line of dialogue to say in this scene that he had never seen Ledger made up before.
Yeah.
And when Ledger walked out of the elevator, he was just blown away. He just didn't say anything, and Ledger just got on with it. And there's a still shot where you can see the look on Caine's face, and it is one of genuine shock.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he's just eating and drinking and just, oh God, so good.
Just takes over the room. This moment was in all the trailers, all the TV spots.
Batman moment.
Yeah.
Breaks down a gun at full walk pace.
No.
Not even looking. Love this bit. He's punching above his weight, that guy, just quietly.
She's probably a secretary. Seems like one of those parties.
He is the old politician governor guy.
Yeah, Senator Leahy. I think Ledger looks great in this sequence as well.
Uh-huh. The way he, like, proves himself.
Hello, beautiful.
She's not backing away from him. You could see she's nervous, but she's not backing away from him. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the way the camera spins around them during this whole interaction, and they just, they just keep playing it.
And this is where we realize the stories are all bullshit.
Wait a minute. This isn't what he told me before. I don't know about that. It's like an improv game that he plays with himself. He's like, I'll just make it up, see what I can come up with.
Just his knife, how it's so small.
Mm-hmm.
That's just watching the movie.
And we can't even hear him. We can hear him.
You can. That's the thing.
Heads.
I can hear him.
I love this.
Yeah.
Got a little fight in you. I like that. You're going to love me.
Oh, God.
After the second time I saw this, I think I recited that line in sync every single time I saw it after.
Yeah.
I loved it so much.
It's awesome.
It's a real movie.
Nolan still can't shoot a fight scene, though. Look at him. He's not kicking ass and taking names here or anything.
where, you know, everyone else in the room has seen Batman arrive except Joker.
Yeah. I also love like what an a-hole the Joker is. He just starts pushing his guys into Batman.
Yes.
Operation Human Shield. He just throws them.
It's like I said, it's like the movie moment. It's like, you know, how you can't hear a helicopter in a movie until it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
I laughed uncomfortably long at this the first night.
Oh, the poor choice of words.
Yes.
Them surviving this fall is still very questionable. He doesn't slow him down that much.
Yeah, you kind of. Well, cars are nice and soft, right?
I think
want
you'd
to
be
land on
surprised
one
how
from
much
that
he
height.
actually did slow them down. Maybe they didn't do the world's greatest job of implying that, but that wind sail out to the side there would slow you down quite a bit.
Well, I'll tell you
Not
what.
as good as holding an umbrella above your head.
I jumped 40 feet into some water and it knocked the wind out of me. So,
Were you wearing body armor when this happened, Andy?
no. You got to appreciate that Harvey Dent does not run, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got his attention.
Nah, yeah.
So back to the room that he leased out for all those mid-2000s rap videos.
I've seen that. Yeah.
It's so true, though.
It is. I wonder, like, was this built before that? I'd have to look at the timeline. Like, was this first and then they just kept it and those videos used it, or vice versa? Are you, Jamie, are you happy with the displaying of the bat suit in this little thing that rises up? Is this acceptable
I
to
wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up,
I'm just curious.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because that's how a billionaire hangs up a what did we say in Begins? Was it 800 grand or 400 grand is how much these suits cost?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's how a guy hangs up a suit like that, not with a bloody hanger he got at the dry cleaners.
Was this the size of a tangerine? I like the way he says tangerine. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Some of those men are named Brendan.
What do I do?
Oh, you know.
Great Batman moment, just standing on a building watching over the city.
You know what? I'll always take one. I'll always take a shot like this. I'll never say no to Batman standing on a building looking out at his city.
I believe that was also Bale.
These poor bastards. Great shot coming out of the shadows.
So I'm going to take this moment to say, damn near objectively, and I wouldn't even accept an argument for it as much as I like Jeffrey Wright and Pat Hingle and J.K. Simmons. There's never been a better Gordon than him.
No argument here. Oldman, yeah, he's amazing as Gordon. And I think he was the secret weapon of these movies. Like he just brings so much decency and humanity to Gordon that you can't help but love him.
So this sequence here, you know, there's been sprinklings throughout, but this sequence here is the one that really gets me in a real bunch when somebody says, "Oh, we've never seen a detective Batman before." That's literally what this entire sequence is him doing detective work.
I still don't understand how it works, but he's definitely doing detective work.
It is, it's movie science.
He's shooting the brick with a different caliber bullet, and whichever one matches what he saw in that wall, he's going to reassemble the bullet fragments to see what it was. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
I understand what he did.
But
Yeah,
isn't he
he's
going
trying.
for
He's trying to
fingerprints?
match. He's trying to match the condition of the bullet in the brick that he found at the crime scene. Because if he can match it, then by reassembling one, he can reassemble the other, and therefore find the fingerprint.
Yeah. Okay.
I get it. I get it.
Because I knew what he was aiming for with getting the fingerprint, but it's like, why are you shooting other bullets? Like, you've already got the one with the fingerprint on it.
Yeah, that's why he's holding it up. But
Because the bullet is damaged enough, he doesn't know specifically what caliber it is. So each one he fires, if you look closely enough at the holes in those bricks, they're different sizes because it's different calibers of bullets.
Okay. See, that I didn't know.
anyway, the point is that we've never gotten Detective Batman.
No,
I love this scene with Lucius. And it's given us the
the whole
good luck
dialogue
meme
drop right
that
here.
that I use
That
all
now lives on forever.
the time.
And like, what a great solution to this problem that I did not see coming the first time I saw this movie in 2008 of like, oh crap, how are they going to get out of this? And Lucius just being like, you have no power here. Be gone before someone drops a house on you too.
And he doesn't deny any of it. There's no denial at all.
Yeah. What do you think you're going to do? he's so good. Morgan Freeman's so amazing.
Oh, here we go. This is another foreshadowing.
Is this the first time we hear play it close to the chest? Because there's a lot of playing things close to the chest in this movie.
Maybe. But again, sort of a not really a throwaway line because they point it out, but one if, you don't really think about it again until the end of the movie and it becomes a huge thing.
Yeah. Of what he's up to. And there is something very cool about him realizing he has to do this as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Like in order to stay inconspicuous. So he's essentially Batman as Bruce Wayne in this.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if we'll ever see that again.
Nah. That's the most depressing St. Patty's Day parade I've ever seen.
I mean, I still can't believe they go ahead with this whole thing, given what's happening in the city. It's like, wouldn't you just not?
You can't let the terrorists win, Brendan.
Well, you know what? I gave the Batman a little bit of crap for this, so I guess I have to concede it here too. But is he wearing the Bat costume underneath all those motorcycle clothes?
I don't think
Does
so.
he have a stash
No.
bag someplace where he's going to suddenly be able to change?
Certainly doesn't look like it.
Well, you know what? There's something to be said for a movie.
Batman for a while.
Yeah, like in the Batman, I
It's
thought they
still
were pretty
in the middle
clear
of
that it
all
was in his
this, though.
backpack.
He did not drive home and change and drive back to catch that coin when Harvey's got the gun on David Desmalchian.
He lives in the city limits in this one.
Oh.
I stand by what I just said.
I never thought about it, honestly. Never once crossed my mind.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say is there's something to be said for a movie that has been so well crafted and has your attention gripped in certain places for so long that it took me 15 years and hundreds of viewings to finally catch.
Huh. But again, in the Batman, I thought they were pretty clear that he had it in his backpack.
Yeah, but all that stuff doesn't fit in a backpack. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not going that far. It's fine.
This is the first time I ever recall
He
seeing.
shot Polka Dot Man.
Good old David Desmalchian. He's awesome.
Yeah, who's now become, again in
He's
everything.
he's like geek royalty now. I love him. And he seems like such a cool dude. But what perfect casting, like in this tiny role, but he's so memorable. I think I saw a meme making the rounds the other day about like David Dastmalchian is like he's the living embodiment of the multiverse because he's been in every universe.
Just go ahead and make him Clayface now.
Why not?
I just love in movies and TV shows in general how easy it is to find car keys.
It's always in the visor.
Always in the visor, or just left in the, like, who does that?
Not people in the real world.
Well, guys, I work at a car dealership, and I'm going to tell you the truth right now. You would be utterly shocked to realize how many people just leave their keys in the center console of their Fords and use their keypad on the B pillar to lock and unlock the car. They've never taken the key out of the console since they bought it.
Huh.
I find it a little odd that Batman's there essentially looking like he's mourning, but he's in on it.
Okay, but here, look, I don't know how in it. I don't think Batman's in on it.
You don't think so?
No. Why would he be?
I suppose.
But there's been a time jump between the parade and now, so there was certainly plenty of time for Bruce to go.
Yeah, like to me, the parade's in the morning. This is at nighttime.
He hasn't even found Harvey Dent and David Dastmalchian yet.
All right.
Boom!
If him just kicking ass through the nightclub again, something I don't think we'll ever see in a movie, and the look of him here just
I love that because I think he absolutely believes Gordon's dead. I never bought it, but I think he thinks that because he's
pissed.
Yeah, exactly. He's had it, and so he shows up at the freaking nightclub and just starts beating down ass.
It's true. I always just assumed he was in on it, but you're not wrong, I don't think.
Because he was doing his own side investigation. The last time he saw Gordon was when he got the brick.
True.
Here comes another one of my very favorite things in all of this movie that is my very favorite movie of all time.
What? There's no safer place than Bruce Wayne's penthouse?
No. Almost there. Be patient, young one.
All right. I'll be over here waiting. I hope he at least took this guy to McDonald's, got him a burger, because it's been a while.
Probably nuggets.
Yeah. He just wants some nuggies.
This bit?
Oh, yeah. I'm counting on it. Okay. No, you're right. An amazing moment. Amazing Batman moment.
Fantastic Batman moment. This is right up there with the swear to me thing from Begins, man. Yeah. It's so good.
Yep. I absolutely am with you on that. It's a great Batman moment.
Have you met this guy?
Where's your sister? Where's your daughter? Where's Emma? I need to protect her from Brendan Lowe.
Yeah, for some reason I had it in my mind that the interrogation thing with Dastmalchian was more immediate than this.
Well, I know you haven't seen this movie a lot, so I understand your confusion.
No, I don't think I've watched it in probably 7 or 8 months.
I mean, it's a lifetime. So much has happened. But then it asks the question is, what's Harvey been doing with David Dastmalchian for the past few hours? What have they been doing? They go to the movies?
Andy, it's 2023. You can't ask that question anymore.
I support them, whatever they choose to do as consenting adults. And I do appreciate, as Dent, who has been unflappable up until now, you start to finally see the end starting to fray.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where Guy Milks and I diverge drastically on this film, because he's maintained for as many years as I've known him, Harvey went over the edge too easy. And I've maintained you can see the hints of it throughout the entire film that Harvey is just a little bit unhinged to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, perspective, Guy and I are good friends. We there's no animosity about this, but he and I have staunchly disagreed about this for 15 years. So
I mean,
actually, I've only known Guy for
that
about
is
12, but
that
still.
is the whole point of this scene, is to really show this darkness in Harvey that's been there and it's starting to come out.
It's a darkness too, but he also was never going to do it. Like, he knows the coin.
Yeah.
It's a fake coin, so he knew he was just doing the threatening tactics. But he's got to be a little unhinged to do it. But I don't think he's as unhinged as he was pretending to be.
Well, sure, but I mean, he's also now working outside the law, which is exactly what he was saying we can't do. Hey, Rachel, did you find the condensed milk?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Because it's really
I
used
know,
to.
I get it.
Yeah. Come on.
Just never thought of it that way before.
He's got some condensed milk for her.
And on that note, I'm going to go get another beverage. Y'all speak amongst yourselves.
Like, this part here, like, yes, she's saying that she meant it. They kiss, like,
yeah.
Come on, Rachel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she meant it, past tense, but you're right. Like, I think she does know that they can never be together, but she doesn't have it in her to tell him. That's the way I always read it. Because she does love him, but she knows that it won't work.
Trailer shot. Looking up at
looks so good. Come on, that just looks so damn good. Oh, it's so empty. It's like when you move out of an apartment, it looks so empty.
Clear this out. P. Diddy needs it tomorrow.
I got TLC coming Thursday.
All the talk about the limit. I mean, yeah, this very much carries over into the third movie.
Yeah. But I mean, it again, it's like these conversations are so great and they're so important. And it's this element of Batman that I don't feel like you see explored a lot. Like, the reason you create Batman isn't just to protect yourself or to protect your friends and family. Is Batman doesn't have to follow the same rules that Bruce Wayne does. That's the point of Batman. He can take it.
Accomplice? I'm telling the whole thing was your idea.
But remember, Nolan movies have no jokes in them. Y'all want some of these delightful cookies my wife brought home?
Sure, sounds great.
Might have a hard time fitting them through these little holes in the microphone, but I'll try.
I can smell them through the microphone, though. They smell great. And we'll say these are some fickle jerks in Gotham City after everything Batman's done for them.
He's ready to give up the mantle.
Yeah. Because he can't feel responsible for what's happening.
It's almost a weird, like, Harvey, I'm Batman. From Batman Forever, like, is about to admit to Harvey Dent who he is.
Yeah. That guy, I hate that guy. He should turn himself in. Listen, Buster. I'm going to tell the Joker your name is Brian and you need to learn some manners. See, I don't think you could ever buy Harvey as Batman because I've seen Batman and he doesn't have a big butt chin.
The butt chin. That's what I was
The
going to say.
the butt chin gives it away, man.
Hey, if he's got time to fill out all that eye makeup around the holes in the mask, he can do it over the chin too.
He does butt chin makeup.
Mm-hmm. And that's what separates Batman from the rest, is that he takes that extra time and effort to do that.
I appreciate that. I love that Alfred has his back no matter what, and he's always going to stand by Bruce.
Well,
Bros before you know what.
I got him this Valentine.
She literally just kissed him.
hey, if I ever meet Christian Bale, I'm not sure I'm not going to kiss him, okay? Can you blame the girl?
Did you guys ever think that Gordon was dead or killed? Did you ever buy that? Really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think the first time I wasn't sure.
I never bought it, but I did not realize he was driving the truck. Like that I did not pick up on, but I never once did I think, oh my God, they killed Gordon, you know?
I feel like I was going with the story they were telling the first time I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But when the reveal happened, it was like, oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no real surprise there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peanut butter, chocolate chip, cookies, and malt liquor go great together, guys. Just so you know.
I'm sure it does.
So this is another lean forward moment.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. it's like you're like, ooh, like, and it's funny because it's not like there hasn't been a huge gap in action. We just had Batman beating ass in the nightclub, but this is such a centerpiece. It's the centerpiece, right? And as soon as this kicks off, and
absolutely
now that we've seen it, you're just like, oh man, here we go. I will say, this is one of my nerdy nitpicks, and I feel like I've said it in the past, is once this scene really kicks off, I know it was a choice, but I do wish that I wish there was score to accompany it. I know they made a choice to not use music, but I wish they had. I feel like the music just adds so much.
This is such a great looking sequence too.
Mm-hmm.
Damn Chicago drivers. That is actually what I feel like on the Dan Ryan sometimes.
That's why he made me meet you in Indiana.
That is absolutely correct. That's why I will continue to press that every time you come home.
We should have asked this guy who's sitting with Gordon to be on this episode because he loves giving color commentary. That is not good.
Isn't that Nicky Cobb?
That is not good.
Isn't he the one driving?
Gordon's driving.
No, Gordon's driving.
No, the actor. Isn't the actor who's playing Gordon driving? Isn't he the guy who's stunt driven in other Batman movies before?
I don't know.
Like, wasn't he the? I might be way wrong here, but wasn't he the cyclist in Batman and Robin? Like one of the motorcyclists?
Search me.
I'm sure I'd heard that story before.
I love the truck where it says laughter is the best medicine, and it's got the S for slaughter.
Brilliant.
Is that a bazooka?
That's so brilliant. And then I also love how, and it's something because it's, again, kind of subtle, that the Joker has a pistol that is also an automatic weapon.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird looking gun, but it's
like an Uzi pistol, and like I'm like, I don't think that
it's a regular semi-automatic pistol that he converted to fully automatic and put an extended magazine in.
But that's not a thing, right?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? Like you can have a pistol that essentially works like a machine gun?
Yes.
That guy's dead.
No, Batman doesn't kill on this.
There's no way the driver survived that. That was all done with miniatures too, which is amazing.
It's great.
Just for a point of reference, I believe the guy that's giving the commentary to Gordon inside the cab of the vehicle there was the one that got in the fight with the dude at the end of Dazed and Confused at the party that they had out at the Moon Tower.
Oh, Valet Batmobile.
It's cool though because he's got like 6 other one of these things.
Yeah, and he
laying
never
around
drives
in the
one
armor.
again.
He has a bunch of camo ones sitting in a warehouse.
The way this Batmobile falls there and then the way it lands is not possible.
Yeah, I know. I've always noticed that it should land on the roof, and thanks to an edit, it does not. And that's it. That's the end of the scene.
It's so funny because we'd seen the Bat Pod, we'd seen it in the trailers and things like that, but the way it shoots out is still, 15 years later, it's still like, man, that is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and even the build up here of giving it a second,
And it's reverse engineered. Like, this was never the plan in Batman Begins.
Oh, of course.
But the way that second tire, like, slings around in behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that I've always wanted to like watch in slow motion just to see how it all supposedly fits together. I never have, but we're like, it's so smooth, but yeah, it's badass. And goodbye, Tumblr. We shall miss you. Now it's the Bat Pod show. But I think that's where the music finally kicks in, is when the Bat Pod launches.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's where we finally get it. And that is a great moment.
I love the scene, or the little bit coming up with the kids, like sitting in the car, like doing the, because I can remember doing that as a kid, like just sitting in a car waiting for stuff, and you'd, I don't know, use your little finger guns, pretend to sniper someone, or be shooting bad guys and stuff. And just the look on their face when it actually explodes is really cool. And that's a really like fun moment in this really intense scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had those during the big chase scene in Begins.
Oh yeah.
And same thing here, which I always appreciated. It's still, at the end of the day, it's still a summer movie. It has to be entertaining. And I think it's those smaller moments. And to Jamie's point, they're never overdone, but they're there.
God, that laugh.
I like that he's like, I'm going to go to the mall real quick. He's like, I need to pick up some sunglasses and shoes.
For a guy who doesn't believe in guns, holy shit, he's got them on a lot of vehicles.
He's got so many guns. No killing, no guns, unless you put it on a vehicle. Then all the guns.
And all the killing. Or the not saving, as it were.
Oh, that's the first time we saw the tires do that.
Yeah.
So cool.
I feel like that was in the trailer a lot. Or the TV spots.
The tires too, like the way they do that, I've still I've never quite understood how it works, but you just buy it, and oh my god,
Although
this
the
moment
Joker's like, he missed. This is what they sold the movie on.
Yep.
So I think I've mentioned it before.
That the way it goes up and down the wall.
Yep, flip the Bat Pod.
I think I've mentioned it before, but I was talking with my comic book shop guy about it because I'm pretty sure he was in the opening night screening with me too. Just by coincidence, we both happened to be there. And we both thought this was the end of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like when they
interesting.
They've got the Joker, they have him apprehended, and we were both like, wow, that movie kicked ass, man. I can't wait to see it again. And it's like, oh, wait,
like
there's
an
more.
Hour to go.
Yeah, we're only an hour and 20.
Like we were so into it, and like you breathe after this incredibly intense, beautiful sequence, and it's like, man, that was good. I can't wait to watch the movie again. And
Do you see that? Do you see that
got the
building
Joker.
behind Batman as he's coming towards? Do you know what that is?
A building?
It's Wayne Tower from Batman Begins.
Oh, wow.
It's a real building in Chicago. See it?
Yep. That's true.
I love
Holy
Joker's
shit,
reaction to this.
Right, kind of spits on him. Yeah.
Yep. Can you just give me a minute?
Can I tell you a huge pet peeve is there's that moment where he jumps over Batman. There's that freeze frame of that or kind of a photo of that makes the rounds, but someone put a skateboard in it, except people share it as if the skateboard was really there, and it drives me nuts every time I see it.
I didn't realize that wasn't a real thing.
No, it's right there in the movie. He jumps over him. And so it's like a shot of when they were shooting that scene, and then someone photoshopped a skateboard in, and people share it and go, look, Heath Ledger was skateboarding on the set of The Dark Knight. No.
I thought he was. Like, I thought he legit was skateboarding on set.
It's fake.
Huh. Well, there you go. I never really believe he jumped Christian Bale.
Watch the scene. You literally see the moment where he jumps.
Huh. Well, there you go.
It's in the movie.
Brendan, I'd tell you how foolish I thought you were right now if I wasn't right with you. I didn't know that. I thought
he jumped Christian Bale, but I maybe it's a Mandela thing, but I could have sworn because this was one of the, in my memory, the first scenes too, where there was a lot of camera footage because, you know, phones had video cameras on them, and this was shot in a street. And I can remember seeing like cell phone footage of, you know, them shooting on that street. And I must have Mandela affected it, but I swear I saw footage of like Heath Ledger just like, you know, skateboarding around behind the scenes, but maybe not.
I've never seen that, but even if he did, the picture that makes the rounds is from the movie.
Okay. I remember the way when he says Commissioner Gordon here, I was just like, of course he couldn't die. He's never actually been commissioner.
Yeah, obviously. It's like, hey, you know that job that got the last guy killed? It's yours now.
And the clap.
Yeah, stuff like
scripted.
Alterations like that could never happen in a movie. That's why CIA agent Jimmy Olsen didn't make it back home from Africa.
Wrong.
That's cold.
Let your wife think you died.
Like, I'd tell them, put them into hiding, get them out of Gotham City.
They moved to Cleveland.
I mean, now. I love this. And the little look of like little pride, look of pride that Gordon has that. Because at the end of the day, you just want your son to be proud of you.
Poor Henry.
You're a piece of shit. Another lean forward moment.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite scenes in cinema.
Yeah.
Not just a Batman movie, like so good. And again, like the scene earlier, like the ramping up of, you know, the tension and and that look he gives him here, like, who did you leave him with? That accusatory look.
Mm-hmm.
God, he's a bastard.
Yeah, honestly, between this and the initial mob congregation sequence thing, I don't know which one would have gotten him the award because they're both so freaking good.
I think I always thought it was this. I mean, his performance overall is outstanding, but this interrogation scene is just amazing.
I don't think he delivers a bad frame anywhere in this movie. Maybe I'm biased because it's my favorite movie of all time.
No, I'm with you.
Maybe it's my favorite movie of all time because it's just that damn good. I don't know. But I feel like this is as close to perfect as a performance gets from front to back.
Here we go. Something like that.
But
Not
you're right.
exactly.
But again, kind of like we were saying earlier, it's those little moments where it's like, you know, like it's a huge performance and so subtle at the same time, and that's what makes it magical.
Look on the face with the hand.
Eh?
The old punch to the hand.
It's going to be hard not to just watch this scene.
Nah. Kiss him. Kiss him.
I think his makeup looks phenomenal in this scene too.
Well, I like that, you know, this is the end of a long night of causing havoc. So yeah, it's even messier than normal and half sweated off. And yeah,
But just knowing that they designed it to look that way, like,
and
the cracks in the skin and stuff, it's so good.
Right. And what I love about this is this, you know, goes back to there is no bigger fan of Batman than the Joker.
Mm.
And I just love this. You know, this is where he comes to that realization. He wanted to kill Batman, and then he realizes how much he loves Batman.
God, he's so good in this scene. They're both great, but Ledger just... Could you imagine being on set and watching this, or being Bale sitting opposite it? Like, you just can't imagine it.
You know, Bale's no joke himself. I'm sure he's keeping up with him. It's just a different type of performance.
He's smart because he knows that he has to play the other end.
Yes, exactly. But just sitting there and watching it from his POV would be outstanding. Oof.
There's that freeze frame that makes the rounds every once in a while where he grabs him, and it's like you can see Ledger's ass, and it's like, look at Joker with all that cake.
I've never seen that before.
It's pretty funny. Like, yeah, there's like a freeze frame of that image where, anyway.
I read too that like Ledger wanted Bale to really hit him. Whether he did or not, I don't know, but
I know it's why they call it acting, but I still find it hard to believe that's that clean-cut, all-American kid from The Patriot.
Well, it's because he's not American.
Oh, this bit here. This is where the Joker is just pinnacle for me.
Yeah. I mean, this is great.
Nothing you can threaten me with.
Yeah, yeah. And him having a great time getting his ass kicked. He's so happy.
Oh, this scene is so... I was about to swear there. It was so good. Oh, my God. And the look on Bale's face.
Nothing to do with all
how
your
you
strength.
know this performance is legit, because I can't hear a word he's saying. So everything, I'm not even watching the words right now because I know him well enough.
Yeah.
I'm just watching his face and his eyes and the delivery. And it's so good just in that respect that it's so impressive. Like we talked when we did Rises a little while back about how Tom Hardy, without hardly ever showing his face at any point in that movie, sells everything with his eyes and his body language.
Mm-hmm.
And Ledger is doing that too. He just gets a lot more dialogue and facial expression because it's not covered up with that mask through this.
He gets to use his whole face.
I didn't mention it either, but because we were just kind of watching it, but that the sheer panic that grips Gordon and how the way he races to that door thinking, oh shit. Like
he knows what's about to happen.
Yeah. Because even he didn't trust Batman not to go over the edge.
Yeah. Well, even I love that the Joker's like, you got to play my game. You have to choose. And even then he's messing with them because he swaps their positions. So no matter who Batman chooses, it's the wrong one.
It shot him just sitting on the floor.
This is great how he manipulates this guy.
Yes.
Too. I feel this dude in this moment because I know what the job is. I know what this guy's trying to do, but eventually he's going to say the thing to me that's going to be like, all right, let's find out real quick.
The six part.
Six is good.
God, again, I said it before. He's such a bastard. But then this became a bit of a movie trope. I mean, Skyfall springs to mind, but I know there were others with the
Getting
whole
captured
he
for
wanted to
on
be caught.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it became a
Loki.
thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say, we were talking earlier about Ledger versus Nicholson, and I think they're both amazing for what they've done. But I think one of the big differentiators is, especially once we get to this scene, like, I want to beat the crap out of this Joker because he is such a bastard. He is so evil. And like, I never felt that way about Nicholson because he's so fun to watch.
Fun. Yes. Fun, funny.
And I think that's a difference, is like, I was never scared of Nicholson. I was amused and entertained by him. And here, Ledger's version is so damn evil that, yeah, you even take some pleasure in watching Batman beat the crap out of him.
You want him to go over. Like, I mean, I know we'll talk to it when we come to it, but that part at the end, I'm just like, drop him. Let him go. Like, don't save him.
I mean, and this just so shitty of him, just rubbing salt in the wounds, showing how much he enjoys what he does. It's just so nasty.
I mean, again, it's I'm not criticizing it because it's movies. Like, the plot is the plot and things have to happen in a certain way. But, all this guy needed to do was pull his sidearm and just shoot him in the head. Just take him out.
That could have been it. Or Batman could have hit him with the bat pod a few minutes ago.
Yep.
I mean,
I would like to have seen him get a punch in. Like, I just want to see this guy hit him at least once.
Guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the criticism that's made the rounds about how so much has to go right for the Joker's plan to work.
But that's a lot of movies.
And I think that's valid. That's certainly true. I'm not even going to fight you on it, but I think, it's one of those things where, yeah, kind of to your point, I give it some leeway because movies,
Yes.
and it's so fun and engrossing to watch that, I forgive a lot of it. I do think it's valid. I'm not going to lie and go, oh, no. This, in real life, you could plan something this intricately. You couldn't, but that's why he's the Joker. He's larger than life.
This poor guy.
Like Christmas.
Bang.
Do you think the guy made it?
Standing there. I don't know, man. You pretty much see him explode.
If this was Scream 6, they'd be like, he's going to make it, guys. And there were murmurs, I think, before the movie came out, or maybe it was just speculation that like Rachel wasn't going to make it. I think there was. And so as this was all happening, I was like, oh shit, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Oh my God, they're going to do it.
Did you think Batman was at the wrong place, or did that catch you by surprise?
That caught me by surprise. I just thought he wasn't going to make it.
And this scene got me. I didn't really have a position either way. Again, I wasn't involved in the chatter leading up to the film, but I didn't know either way if she was going to live or die in this moment. But the fact that it just happens mid-sentence right here.
Yeah.
Like that shook me a little bit. I wasn't ready for it.
Well, there are quite a few moments in this movie that knock the wind out of you. And, it's the jump scare we talked about. It's the camcorder footage. It's this, and even that is horrifying with Harvey's face on fire. Like it's I think we said it on the last episode. It's a movie that it's PG-13, but man, it's right up there on top of that line.
Breaks my heart that moment just before Rachel goes though, where she knows, like she's accepted it.
Yeah. And it is so fun and smart to go back to Lau because, gosh, so much has happened since he went and got Lau from Hong Kong where you're like, oh, God, this is still part of the plan.
I feel like that was in every motionized piece of advertising for this film was that moment there.
It's funny. There's something about that moment that Scotty found so disturbing about the Joker hanging out of the window.
I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I think Scotty's great. I think he's a wonderful human being. I don't know him on the level that you do, but I still find it so bizarre that he went out to dinner with us, and when it was time to go see Joker, he's like, "Peace, I'm out."
He does not like movies that make him feel bad, and so I think he chose wisely with Joker. Like, I'm trying to remember if he saw this with me. He may have, but like I just feel like even then he was reluctant because I think Heath Ledger's Joker in the trailers, he's like, no, I think it's going to be disturbing.
Tell you what, people in these movies, they should not write letters. It never ends
See?
well.
See? I like, well, Rachel died, but she dumped you. I hope this helps. There you go.
Chamomile will bring you down from any situation like that.
That shot of him sitting there with his mask in the skyscraper is also just a really awesome, iconic image.
Mm.
Now, am I remembering correctly? Like this was the last scene that he shot in the costume?
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Because didn't he like ask for a minute after it was over to just like sit there and contemplate being? Maybe I'm thinking of something in Rises. I don't know.
I don't know.
That story, but
Yeah, that right there where he's holding the mask. They're going to have to make do with you, Batman. You need to be Batman for the good of the city. That's something Alfred always believes.
mm. See, I wouldn't let that go. I'd be like, no, what was that?
Oh, okay. Was it the electric bill? Yeah, you're right. I'll deal with it later.
Like, why would it be
he
there?
does seem to be
breakfast?
otherwise occupied away from the breakfast tray there.
What is that? I wrote you a poem. We'll read it later.
Oh, this is haunting too, when he realizes.
I mean, I know that we've all said it, but it's worth saying out loud again. And that Eckhart, he doesn't get enough credit, but he gives a great performance in this movie.
Oh, he's
Indeed.
fantastic.
And don't forget about Anthony Michael Hall.
I never would.
Joker dies tonight.
Because you know what?
Damn right.
Chicks cannot hold the smoke. And that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
No good?
I'll just go with this. Good talk, reporter. Good talk.
The reveal here is really great. But talking about Eckhart's performance, his scene at the end, with Gordon's son, it's right up there with the like the interrogation scene for me. It's a brilliantly acted scene,
Mm-hmm.
and he's so good in it, and it's intense.
Yeah. And you're right. I love that they keep that side of his face hidden. Unfortunately, the look of Two-Face got spoiled for me before the movie. Thank you, Ain't It Cool News. But
Was it the toy?
yeah. No, it was an image of him. I think
Okay.
it was.
I'd only seen the action figure.
I want to say it was like not concept art, but like kind of a rendering for what the effect was going to look like. And it was one of those things where it's like, we don't know if this is real, and then it was.
Ain't It Cool still a thing?
I have no idea. I have not even tried to look in many, many years.
I feel like the last time I was on Ain't It Cool News was right when Sucker Punch came out, because I was looking for somebody that was going to write a positive review about that movie.
Oh, crispy. That's me right now in Florida, where that side of the face is facing outside the car in the sun.
You know the joke is bad when Maroney goes to the cops.
Yeah. Maroney's like, I don't like him either.
That's a lot of money.
Otherwise,
This was one where I said that they had, where I believe they remember. I remember them saying they had one take because otherwise they're going to have to restack all this money. And Ledger nailed it for him to slide down.
whack right in the face.
Right in the head.
That had to hurt.
What's funny is in 2008, gas prices were up too. So this part, when he says, I like things like gasoline that are cheap, there was a little giggle in the audience.
It's probably less than $1 a liter still.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
He said liter, Andy.
Oh, I don't know how much that is.
There are 3.8 liters in a gallon.
Okay, maybe that's closer. I don't know. I remember when they announced that Anthony Michael Hall was cast, there was speculation that he could be the Riddler.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because, anytime any actor is cast in a superhero movie, especially a Batman movie, they just assume he is going to be a villain or a comic book character.
Skeet's
when they're a known commodity, you would make that assumption pretty naturally.
Like Scoot McNairy is the Flash, exactly.
Like, I know Jenna Malone's not a household name, but come on, a reporter that's in 3 minutes of a movie at one point. That's
not even the theatrical cut.
No.
Well, and then Juno Temple in Rises, there was speculation. Oh, I wonder if she's Batgirl.
Didn't she become a star?
Yeah. It's crazy because she looked like a kid in Rises, and then she is certainly a woman now.
When I told Jess, I was like, you know what Batman movie she was in, right? Jess had no idea.
Yeah.
And like her mind was blown when I told her.
Well, it's easy to forget because she only has like 2 scenes, maybe 3. Yeah, like it's pretty minor. The whole fan thing about Mr. Reese. Mr. Reese, is he the Riddler? Like,
this is where he realizes, man, I effed up. But again, I mean, you can't. His intentions here are noble as well. Like, dragging it out on television is ridiculous. But he, in his own way, is trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, wouldn't you? If all this was going on, and
knock out Batman? Hell no.
No, if I knew
what Fox said, like
I'd force him to train me as a Robin.
That's what I was going to say. I'd show up at his house and say, you know what? I recognize who you are.
I saw your
because
eyes
of the way
once.
that you smiled, and it was fake. So now,
yep. Obviously. But I love this. Like, we have just sort of been able to take a breath after the death of Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're back in it again. He's going to blow up a hospital. Like, this is a movie that just doesn't let up.
Even back in 2008, seeing mobs like this and things, it's like it was still a work of fiction. And now it's not, which is very sad. I love that one. Maybe Batman can save you. Eat shit.
It's very smart of Bruce to be like, hey, do any cops have relatives in the hospital? I wouldn't have thought of that.
That's why you're not the world's greatest detective, Andy.
That's exactly it. You're right.
Somebody think that's just an empty parking garage with glass windows.
And I also love that Bruce knows so many of the cops, Yeah, like he knows his stuff, right?
Wow, look at that camera phone. Those old style text messages. Jeez, it takes you
Yep.
back, doesn't it?
I want to see Gordon reply and have to hit each number like 3 or 4 times.
You know what's funny though? You laugh about that now, but like I used to be able to drive and text. I know you shouldn't drive and text, but I used to be able to drive and text like a mofo.
Oh yeah, we were
have to look at the
fast.
screen, and you could do it so fast. No typos. I could type a novel on those phones and not
Yeah.
look at the screen, and it'd be right.
Yeah, we were good. He just looks like he smells.
Yes.
He does look kind of greasy.
He does. That hair, gross. Honey, treat yourself to some pert. I love that he's got the I believe in Harvey Dent sticker, though. That's amazing. Yes. Where he's like, I'm going to go talk to Harvey. I'd better butter him up. Here, let me put a campaign sticker on.
That throwaway line of like a dog chasing cars, and then it's like the best piece of Batman music pretty much ever.
It's so good. Did I tell you I purchased the extended edition
edition, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I finally bought it 15 years later, and I finally closed that loop. I regret nothing.
Is it just digital, or did you get the physical?
Just digital. I tried to look for it. I tried to look for a physical copy, and it was kind of hard to find. And I was like, you know what? I'm fine with just digital. And guess what? Those remixes are pretty badass. They're pretty cool. I might put one at the end of this episode.
Junkie XL did a couple of those, didn't he?
He did Rises. I don't think he did this one.
I mean, there was even a part of me in this scene where I wanted Dent to blow the Joker away.
Yeah.
Then be the villain for the rest of the movie.
God, could you imagine? That would have been a heck of a twist. I wouldn't have seen that coming. I think the license plates are even Illinois. They say Gotham, but that's the design of the Illinois license plate. Yeah. Gotham is the only city with its own license plate.
Maybe Gotham's like Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's its own little thing, right? And going back to the Two-Face look, I do think it's great. I do think it's creepy. And it's CG, and it's still really great CG 15 years later.
Holds up.
Yeah. I will say that's not one of the things I really love about Nolan is that he certainly uses CG to do things that are hard to do, but he always wants them to blend and not call attention to themselves. So he tries to make them as real as they possibly could be. And I think that's a perfect example. And it is hilarious, the irony of the Joker going, oh, I don't have plans. You guys have plans. I don't have plans. And he has the most intricate plans of anyone you've ever met in your life.
I believe we've established previously that he is a shyster and a bullshit artist.
This is true. I'm a planner. It's one of my toxic traits is I love my plans, and then I get really frustrated when they don't work out.
Your superhero identity is itinerary man.
It is. Oh my God. You should see the itineraries I make for vacations. I'm like Danny Tanner with his clipboard of fun. That might be a deep pull, but someone out there got it.
Yet if this was filmed in Australia, he would not have survived that. He would have been on the driver's side of the car.
Oh, yeah. I just feel bad for that Lamborghini. Now, here's the question. Do you think they really bought a Lamborghini and destroyed it for the movie? Or do you think they dressed up another car like a Lamborghini so they could destroy it for the movie?
I mean, probably
because
it looks like a Lamborghini.
Because I know it does. That's I'm like, not a waste of money, but oh my God, that's just makes
almost
me sad.
Every car in every movie, if it's not on loan from somebody's personal collection, is some kind of a rebuild that's already been wrecked. So,
oh really?
Yeah. You'd be amazed how many times I could sit here and point out to you how many cars have had horrific body and paint work on them. But I try not to look that deeply at stuff.
Jeez,
but if they're
lucky.
driving a car that's in park, that's going to make me nuts.
Oh,
He's lucky ad-libbed here, eh?
Well aware. Yeah, I love this. I love that where he's like, oh, wait. What the hell? That's awesome. This is how they canceled the soap opera General Hospital.
That's amazing how they actually, again, did that practically. It was just a big parking lot that they put windows on and blew it up. But man, you only get one take at that, and thank God Heath Ledger. And then there's that extended shot, I think it's on the DVD or Blu-ray, where it shows more of him driving away in the bus. And he's completely in character. Like, he doesn't look back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't look back at a building exploding? But he just, deadpan straight ahead, does not look at the building.
Do you know, it took me way too long to realize he was upside down in this shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the words behind him are right side up, so it's just the falling pages that clues you in. So yeah, I did not pick up on it for a long time.
So much that's still to go in this movie. Like, we've got the whole ferry scene, and
well, I mean, this is what kicks us off into the final stretch here. Because he tells everyone to evacuate, they'll get on the ferries, and now we see what Bruce's super secret government project was that had nothing to do with the government. But
that's meant to be every cell phone in Gotham. Could you imagine if they did that today?
Yeah.
It'd be like bigger than the room.
Yeah, you can't believe every screen equals one cell phone. You've kind of got to believe that every cell phone is looped into these screens, and it shows the pertinent ones.
I remember they released this scene a week or so before the movie was released. But they kept like they didn't show Harvey's face like it is in this scene where he says half. Mm-hmm. They still kept the camera angle from behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember watching it online.
Huh. Just the half is a great
just line. And that's where it ended. It was only about 20 seconds.
And much like his face, I love that he put his suit back on that also got half burned, so you still get that Two-Face look.
It was your tech, Lucius. The look he gives when he realizes he gave it to him.
I mean, at least he, he tried to save his soul in the process.
30 million people, man. That's a big ass population for a city.
Yeah, no kidding. Lucius just sits down and plays Space Invaders.
Pervs on some woman having a shower. What's the snow princess up to these days? Or the ice princess?
Stop acting like the traffic isn't backed up for hours in Chicago anyway, guys. Come on. You're killing me with this.
This is just Tuesday.
But
When I haven't been to Chicago in a while, it does get me because I'll drive over there and I'll be like, gosh, I made really good time. I'm going to get there way earlier than I thought. And then I hit the traffic and I'm like, oh, this is why I always think it takes that long to get there.
But the whole ferry thing, it's another moment. Like, again, because movies, but, you know, how would the Joker know that was going to happen? That they'd put all the prisoners on one ferry. And yeah, it's...
Yeah.
But you go with it because it's a great story concept.
Mm-hmm.
My guess would be he didn't anticipate that the prisoners would be on there. He just anticipated they were going to use ferries to start getting people out because of the congestion. Yeah. And it just happened to be that they used prisoners on one and civilians on the other.
Makes it a little bit more poetic, I guess.
But doesn't he say it? Doesn't he say, like, you know, one of the ferries is full of Gotham's worst?
He does.
Well, I think he realizes it in that moment. I don't think his plan was contingent on that being what they did.
Mm. It was
something else. I'm just like
Ramirez.
How he just walks away from this, like just because he put a seatbelt on.
Seatbelts save lives, man. This is why you should always buckle up. Buckle up for safety.
Is it the law over there that you have to wear a seatbelt?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Aw, thanks for being concerned about us.
You know, we used to build cars where seatbelts were damn near unnecessary. Now we build them out of plastic, so yeah, it is kind of helpful.
So what do you think was actually going on here in terms of, do you think they had the triggers for their own bombs? Do you think...
or whether they would blow had themselves the other
up? Because there'd be some sort of bait and switch here. Or you would think there is based on the other plans he's had, but, you know... Just curious to know what you think the actual game at play was from the Joker's.
It could have been exactly what he said. It could have been exactly the opposite, or there could have been a trigger that blew both up. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't know the answer, but I think I like the version that you think you're blowing up the other one and you end up blowing up yourself. I do think that there's something about that.
It does feel very Joker-esque.
Yeah. And there's the president from The Fifth Element.
Tiny Lister.
I always want to call him Zeus. Zeus
is what he went by in wrestling. And
okay. I was like, why do I want to call him
No
Zeus?
Holds Barred.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is that the guy with the funny eye?
Yes.
Yeah.
So fun fact, I know a guy that lives in Southern California that went to the same church as him and said that guy was the friendliest, always smiling, most outgoing person you'd ever meet in your entire life. But like in every movie he's in, he plays like this hardcore criminal, look at me wrong and I'm going to knock your jaw right off your face kind of person.
He does have that look about him, though.
He does. But I love him. Like every time I see him, I like that guy.
Love the guy, the sailor, who's with the other guy who's got the trigger. He's like such a stereotypical looking, you know, boat person.
Sea captain.
It looks like what's the I always forget his name, the sailor's name in the Superman comics.
Bibbo.
He looks like Bibbo.
It looks like such a boat person.
Well, he's not really a sailor, but you know what I mean? Like Wonder if they ever toyed with the idea of putting some people in there that, like a Zaz or
I
a
that
Gandalf.
literally crossed my mind. I was like, Killer Croc should be in there.
Yeah, or like just someone, with a bit of a nod to some other lesser known villains.
Yeah, they could have, but like it could distract from the scene. Like even if they had put Zaz from the first movie or Crane in there or something, it could just be a distraction.
Well, plus these guys are like Blackgate people, not Arkham people. So
Yeah, that's true. I noticed throughout this entire movie, like the first time I watched it, especially like how little Barbara is there, but you never see her. Like you never see her face. She's just always sort of obscured.
Mm-hmm.
Where they were like, no, but Barbara Gordon exists, but we're not focused on her. She's this is not her story. But then there was always that part of me was like, yeah, but she will grow up to be Batgirl.
And we'll never get to see the movie.
And then that didn't happen, but
of all the Movie Masters figures from the Dark Knight trilogy, I still don't have a Two-Face one.
Well, they have a new line now from McFarlane.
Yeah,
and
so big.
I'm really tempted. I haven't seen them out in the wild. I've only seen them online. So it's one of those things where I'm like, when do I give up and just order them from the internet? But the Two-Face looks really good. The Scarecrow looks really good. All of them, I mean, they all look really good, but we went past it, but there was that moment where, right as the fairy situation was about to be introduced and Batman's just sitting there on the Bat Pod listening, like waiting to see where he has to go. Is just another awesome moment. That the little guy, one of the most hateable characters in the trilogy. We hate that guy.
Right after the Joker, he just...
They should put him and Mr. Reese on a boat each and they can blow each other up.
Gordon, it's like, I have to save Dent. He blames himself.
So this just lends more credence to the idea that Joker would have reversed the switches on the...
White lenses. I jumped almost when I saw that in the cinema for the first time. I was just like, we've got the white lenses.
That's really more of a light blue, but sure.
Oh, come on.
But you're right, Jamie, about like, him again, kind of playing them of swapping
everything has
the hostages. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that as well, it does reinforce the idea that, he's not telling the entire truth with the fairies. Okay, Harvey Dent, you weren't even married to her yet. Like, drama queen, where my family died. She wasn't your family yet. Settle down.
I feel like Joker is just like, what was his name? Fazzini from Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly I cannot trust the glass in front of you.
Could you imagine being like a hostage with a gun taped to you with a mask?
I know. It would suck.
So scary.
It would suck. I hope the Joker never takes me hostage. I wouldn't like it.
Not even if it's Christmas?
I mean, maybe. I do like Christmas with the Joker. It's magical.
Just getting crash tackled by Batman too, if you weren't already feeling bad enough.
This is a great finale though, because there is so much happening, for being kind of the last big action sequence. It's really awesome because he's trying to deflect the SWAT team without hurting them, .
what made this scene even scarier for me is this was when I still had my dog phobia.
Ah.
Such genius writing, though. This is when I still liked a lot of Nolan movie twists.
Do you not anymore? What does that mean?
Not so much. It feels like it's, you know, a next level of M. Night. It's just like, I don't need every movie to be, you know, to have some massive twist in it or...
What was the massive twist in Dunkirk?
Dunkirk, well, there wasn't one. Dunkirk I liked.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't feel like he like relies on twists the way, you know, M. Night mostly has in the past. Like it's... But here, like any
He just kicks him off the edge.
I love it. Yeah. I think you're a few seconds ahead of us, Brendan.
It always happens.
Yep. But I do love that, yeah, how he just gets them all out.
Another thing that reminds me of the Batman, or the Batman reminded me of this, with all the guys hooked up together.
How dare you? That's the most original superhero movie ever made.
So these dogs, man, they're like the Hulk dogs.
Right.
I still like that movie.
I do
No,
too.
I won't apologize for it.
I'm with you. I like it too. Should do fine against cats.
He's going ham with them pipes.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, but he's such a, you know, he's such like a little a-hole. Like, well, you attack him, and then I'll just, you know, I'll just get it in sucker punches and cheap shots.
Yeah, he's not a fighter. He's not a brawler.
No. But I have always liked, and I think I said this in the last episode, is I like that he physically can stand next to Bale and it feels somewhat equal, you know?
Yeah.
I think that was smart casting to not make him too little, too big. Like he's actually just right with Bale.
This is a nice little twist on this that I really appreciate to this day.
Yeah.
You feel like he's the hardened killer. He knows how to deal with this. He can push the button and not, you know, feel the guilt and all that stuff about it. And then he does what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really good human moment in there.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
It's been 15 years and I still don't know what I'd do if I was a passenger on that ferry.
I'll tell you what I'd do.
Jump off.
I'd swim back to the dock because it's only about 50 yards away.
I would excuse myself to the bathroom and I'd put on my Robin suit. And
that you carry around in a backpack?
That I always have with. I'm always wearing it under my clothes. Okay. And then I would come out and I would save the day.
Is his eye always like that?
Yeah,
yes.
It's always been. Yep. So you don't know him from other stuff, Brendan?
Maybe not. Did you say The Fifth Element?
Yeah, he's the president.
I saw that once in like 1997, so I can't remember.
He was Debo in Friday. You never seen Friday?
Oh my God, that's right. He is.
No, I haven't.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's kind of, honestly, it's kind of like an Eric Roberts thing where it's like, oh, you know, it's this, he's been in a lot of stuff and kind of unexpected, and he gets this nice little supporting role.
I feel like that was in every promotional piece there too.
Yeah.
Gets quoted a lot now too.
It's another immortal gift, just like with the Lucius Fox. Good luck.
Sit down.
Sit your
Dickhead.
ass down. I like to believe that in Rises, he's one of those people that gets drug out of his home and thrown into the gutter.
No, I think he got exiled.
For his last scene, he also looks great here.
Yes. And it's obviously knowing what, that he wasn't with us anymore. Is why I wanted him to let him drop.
Yeah.
It's just let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go.
Yeah.
Because we knew we were never going to get the payoff, even though it's a terrific line that's coming up.
I know. And this is one of those things where, again, the first time I kept going, is this going to be the last scene? Is this going to be the last time we see him? When's the last time we see him? And yeah.
That's such honestly, a 2008 thing, having the chain hanging off the pants.
But this final exchange between the two of them, much like the interrogation, is just also a perfect note to go out on for the two characters.
Yes.
And you're right. The dialogue here about the, we're destined to do this forever, that like hit me like a dagger in my heart the first time I saw it.
Absolutely. So bittersweet.
Yeah, I won't kill you because you're just too much fun is like a perfect Joker line.
Maybe we could share one.
I think when I wrote my review of The Dark Knight back in 2008, that's how I ended it with is, and the Joker says we're destined to do this forever, if only, if only that was in the cards.
When that realization just dawns on Batman of just like, what have you done?
Yep. And the Joker's got it figured out all over again.
Have you ever wondered if it would have been even more impactful if we'd seen Dent in Begins, if Dent was a character in Begins?
Possibly, yeah. I think there's a case to be made for that. I still have no issue with the way it played out because when we saw Begins and there's the DA who's Rachel's boss, and when he gets killed, as soon as that happened in Begins, I was like, that means there's an opening for a new DA, and I know who it's going to be. Like in the Batman where they kill the DA, and it's like there's an opening for a DA, and I know who it's going to be. No? Okay, I'll just be over here by myself.
I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of watching my favorite movie here.
This was another big lean forward moment for me now. After seeing it the first time. It's this scene and the dialogue and the music underneath it, and you've got a guy holding a gun to a kid's head, and it's just like, what movie is this? Like it's elevated from watching a Batman movie, a comic book movie. Like this shit is dark.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's in the title.
You know what I mean? And like even the way they keep his face in shadow in this, so it's Harvey.
Yeah.
It's it's not the villain Two-Face. This is Harvey talking. It's genius.
Mm-hmm.
And Eckhart and Oldman are acting their asses off in this.
Just the person you love most. I love when he's like, nope, not your wife. And his wife's like, oh, my husband doesn't love me the most. And the daughter's like, I wasn't even in the running. No one even gives a shit about me. You don't even get to see my face. Maybe that's why maybe that's why she packed him up and took him to Cleveland. Because she's like, you don't love me the most? I gave you those kids.
You can't fault him though, with the three of us being fathers now. Like, you know, Jess and I have had this conversation. If anything would have, if there was ever any danger to me or Henry or whatever, I was just like, you'd take Henry, right? Like, I would expect you to take Henry. Like, you need to protect the children.
Yeah. I'd save Henry over you.
Oh, I'd want you to.
So my daughter has informed me that she gets to watch this movie for one of her classes this year.
Oh,
So, gentlemen, there's still hope for the future.
that's awesome. I love to hear that.
Again, not to nitpick, but as much as I love this scene, it's still always like Rachel and Batman fell off the top of a building with like a little bit of stoppage and survived. He doesn't really fall that far.
He's already in a little bit of a health crisis here, though, Brandon.
I know. I mean, I think it was a Kevin Smith thing too. If the fall didn't kill him, the infection would have. But
Yeah.
Still,
We didn't see them the whole way down. Maybe he slammed his head against a girder.
things that kill
I'm okay
people in
with
these
it.
movies
I buy it.
are a bit hit and miss. Like Talia dying in the car, in the truck, but Gordon.
And then Gordon crawling out the back. And then there's the deleted scene where he looks at her and goes, "Sucks to be her."
Yeah. Gary Oldman's so good in this scene.
Gary Oldman's good in everything.
I mean, he could have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor in this himself.
Yeah,
I mean, he wouldn't have won, but he
Yeah.
he deserved a nomination.
Yeah, I agree.
Even this little kid's such a good actor in this scene.
This one, I do give the leeway of people like, oh, well, Batman killed Harvey. I'm like, well, no, he really jumped to grab little Jim Gordon,
Yeah.
But if it was my Batman, he would have saved Harvey too.
This is your Batman. But I know what you're doing. I get it. You're doing like a thing.
You don't have to thank me.
I said you'll never have to. I did not see this ending coming. I'll be honest about that. I feel like by this point, the movie had me in the palm of its hand, and I just was just along for the ride. No one's ever been able to answer who were the 5 people that Harvey killed. Even Nolan. Even Nolan sidestepped that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I've never thought of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's been a thing ever since 2008. Like, who were
Yeah.
the 5 that Harvey killed? No one knows. It's fine. Best to not think about it.
I can only
Eric
think of-
Roberts, driver, the cop in the hospital, Rachel.
Harvey didn't kill Rachel.
Did he? He killed Ramirez, didn't he?
No, he knocked her out.
Punched her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He killed Wirtz.
Words.
Yeah.
There, that's 5.
No.
Yes.
No.
Words.
Words. Eric Roberts, Eric Roberts, Driver. That's 3.
Cop in the hospital.
That was the Joker.
But they thought Harvey killed him. They didn't know Joker was in that hospital.
No, that's fan headcanon. That's headcanon. Nope. And even if that is, that's still only 4.
I just said the 5, and now
the 5th you said was Rachel. The Joker killed Rachel.
No, I said 5, and then I didn't say Wirtz the first time.
You said Rachel.
But then I backed it off, and then you said Wirtz, and I said, okay, Wirtz is the 5th.
No, I'm telling you right now, nobody's been able to answer the 5. Because someone asked Nolan in that live stream movie watching, someone asked him, who are the 5? And he said, that has not been revealed yet. And he never, that was it.
I did like this bit, how Bruce knew and, destroyed the machine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it certainly opens up the conversation, and there is the philosophical conversation of like, especially with what was happening in the United States during this time about surveillance and how much privacy is do we need to preserve for safety? And, I don't think the movie takes a stand one way or the other, because the movie kind of says sometimes it's necessary, but what does it cost? At least that's the way I see it, but I know that I've heard arguments on both sides, but I think that's what the movie's trying to do is start the conversation.
Damn dogs in this movie.
I know, they're everywhere. No wonder you're scared of them. And this final montage, the music, it's just an incredible note to go out on, because it is triumphant and also tragic.
Once again, we saw the last shot in a trailer and didn't know it.
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that was pretty all right. I like that.
It's one of those movies that I don't watch it as much as I used to, but every time I revisit it, I always forget how damn good it is.
Mm-hmm. Same. Because every year we get multiple new superhero movies, and so like it's we don't revisit some as much as we used to, and that's just the way it goes. But you're right. Every time I revisit it, I am back there, and I'm like, God, this is just so damn good. So as we watch these closing credits, and I can hear the score in my head, why don't we give some final thoughts on The Dark Knight? So Brendan, you already kind of started, so keep going.
I mean, I really covered it in the last episode we did in the build up, but I was all in on this movie in a level I don't think I'd ever been before. I know I hadn't been before. The only one that came close was Batman Forever, and I was 11, so that was a bit different. But as an adult, I was obsessed with this movie day and night. It was everything in, that first half of 2008 in the build up to it. And it didn't disappoint. I followed this movie to a level where I was going in thinking I knew how it was going to play out. Everything I'd read, everything I'd heard, everything I'd seen, I would have bet the farm that, the first half would have been, like a standard Act 1. Joker was the villain. We see Harvey turn towards the end of the movie, and that sets up the third film. And it just, as much as I thought I knew, I had no idea. And the movie was so different to what I expected it to be. And it just left you gobsmacked. It really did. And it's one of those movies where not the very first time I saw it, because it was just myself and Jess, but that second day, like I talked about in the last episode, when it was, my friends and my family, and you walked out kind of not knowing what to say. Everyone was quiet for at least 5 minutes or so, but it wasn't just like, oh, what did you think? And because everyone was just taking it in, and it is held in such a high regard, and it's held in a high regard for a reason. There's a lot of movies that are held in a high regard, and and you look back on them, however, 10, 15, 20 years later, wherever, and you're like, well, it's good, but I don't know if it's really worthy of the praise that it gets. And that's what I was alluding to before, where I don't watch this as often as I used to. It used to be a yearly watch. It's kind of once every 2 or so years now. And it is purely for the reason, as you said, Andy, there's just so much content now in comic book, not just comic book movies, but DC movies, and TV shows and stuff that weren't around when this movie came out. And
This
whenever
is
I
this
do,
is still when we were lucky to get one a year.
yeah, exactly. And even, but now when I revisit it in that every 2 years or so, like I was saying, it doesn't come under that category of, oh, it's good, but I don't know if it's worthy of the no, it is worthy of every single piece of praise this movie still gets to this day and age. I mean, whenever a new Batman movie comes out, it's compared to this movie.
Mhm.
It's not just a Batman movie, it's the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. Like, The Dark Knight is still the benchmark 15 years later. And just in my mind, we haven't seen a movie like this, since. To me, the only one that comes close as being to hold up in such a high regard, and I'm not wanting to cause any troubles here or whatever, is the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I think it is a brilliant, brilliant superhero movie. But there's only one Dark Knight, and it's incredible. I'm just sitting here waiting for the after credit scene to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Joker is still hanging there going, hello,
Yeah.
hello, can somebody get me down now?
If it was a Marvel movie, that's pretty much how it would end. But got to get that last gag in. But no, I mean, this movie changed the genre forever, and it is worthy of all the praise that is heaped onto it. And 15 years later, it's still untouched in my opinion. So, I mean, what else can you say? It's the best.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of that, and I absolutely agree. It's not my favorite Batman movie, but it's one of my favorite Batman movies. And anytime someone says their favorite Batman movie is The Dark Knight, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, of course, because it is that good. And you're right. I think that 15 years later, even though there are tiny nits to pick, and I can acknowledge some of the criticisms that have come its way over the past 15 years, I still don't think any of them take away from how damn good this movie is. Every time I do revisit it, like you said, I get sucked back in, and I just remember what a freaking masterpiece it is. And that's what I think it is. And like you said, every Batman movie gets compared to it, but it's not just every Batman movie. It's every DC movie. It's every comic book movie. The Dark Knight is still the bar, and some people think it's been cleared. I'm not one of those people. I think The Dark Knight is the bar for a reason, because it's just that good. It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing journey. And like you said, when it's over, it's a full meal of a movie. So you are exhausted, but in a great way, like in a very satisfied exhaustion, as opposed to something else. And yeah, just an amazing movie. And every time I go back to it, it's nice to be reminded of that. So it's really awesome. But Jamie, I wanted to give you the last word.
So when I came to work the next day after having seen this, I walked out of the theater just blown away by the experience that opening night. And I walked in and walked out to the shop and talked to a friend of mine who worked with me at the time. And he said, well, what'd you think? I said, and I was like, I was still in like a haze about it. It was so odd. And I said, I think it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I got to see it again. I got to see it again. And, as time went on, I, again, wound up seeing it in the theater 10 times. And it's my favorite Batman movie. It's my favorite superhero movie. It's my favorite comic book movie. It's my favorite movie. So I don't know how much more praise I can heap on it than that. I find so little to complain about with this film, and I find the things to complain about are so nitpicky and so minor that, if you're looking at it in the grand scale, I just don't think a movie gets any better than what this does. And I'm sure other people think very differently or see things very differently with it. And that's fine. We're menus at restaurants, as Andy always likes to say, but I still to this day maintain this is the best movie that I've ever seen. It's my favorite movie that I've ever seen. I just, someday maybe I'm going to see something that finally topples it. And honestly, I kind of look forward to that day because that means I've seen one hell of an amazing movie. Because
Yeah.
15 years and counting, nothing's gotten over this one yet.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, I can't argue with you. I think what I said after seeing this in 2008 is I said it is a very special moment when you get to watch one of your favorite movies for the first time.
Yeah.
And walking out of The Dark Knight, it was so special. It was lightning in a bottle that's how I felt. I'm like, this is one of my favorite movies. You know, it didn't take number one like you, Jamie, but I can't argue with that because it deserves it. And it was just, it was that. It's something you said, Brendan, about there was already so much hype and excitement. And as Batman fans, we were so excited. And it didn't only meet that expectation, it blew it away.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a special kind of movie to do that. And The Dark Knight is that movie.
Sure is.
So amazing film. Fun to watch it with you guys. Sometimes talking, sometimes watching. But that's
It's
how
so
it was.
engrossing. I mean, I feel like I didn't talk about it very much as it was going on because I'm just so sucked in every time I have it on the TV.
With this movie, because it is so watchable.
It always is. It always is. Usually,
You know, like, we have those movies that we all talk about. Yeah, I could, fold some socks to it, as Roman would say. But this one, I feel like if I put it on, my productivity is just going out the window for 2.5 hours.
yeah, absolutely. All right. The Dark Knight. Happy 15 years to The Dark Knight. A magical film, an amazing film. One of my favorite films. Jamie's favorite film, number one, with a bullet. And I love that. So great that we were finally able to make this happen and watch it together. Makes it even that much more special. So
Well, I told you I just got this Apple TV unit set up. The first movie I watched on it was my second favorite movie of all time, which was Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
were going to say Weekend at Bernie's too.
I was going to ask.
No. That's top 10, but no, not number 2.
I was going to ask,
So-
gun to your head, if you had to choose Rear Window or The Dark Knight, which would you choose? But I guess it's
Dark
The Dark
Knight.
Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a hesitation. And dude, I love Rear Window. I love every frame of that movie, but
It's so good.
I put The Dark Knight above it. And I won't apologize for doing it.
It's so funny.
Nor do you have to.
I don't have, like you guys, like I know Andy, for you, it's Jurassic Park, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one singular movie that I can point to that's my favorite. I have a collection that sit in that upper echelon as opposed to everything else. I can't point to one single one. I just can't do it.
Well, the other day, as I was sitting on the porcelain throne on Letterboxd, I created a list of like just my favorite movies of all time, which was fun. And it's a weird collection because I'm not saying they're the best movies of all time. I'm saying they're my favorite movies of all time. But Dark Knight is in there. Rear Window is in there. Obviously Jurassic Park. But it was kind of fun to just something to keep me off of other social media so I don't get annoyed of just like, I'll just make a list of my favorite movies.
That's actually fun. That's actually, I might have to join you on
It
that.
is fun.
It's fun to do, yeah.
Yeah.
The bizarre thing for me is like 1, 2, and now number 3 as of last year are all firmly locked in place. But I feel like 4 through 10 can switch orders on an hourly basis.
I think I only know my number one. Like after that, it's kind of a wash. But
I know my top 10 includes Goodfellas, Jaws, Dazed and Confused. Mad Max Fury Road really held in there for quite a long time. I'm not sure if it hangs in there quite as tight now. I mean, I feel like Star Wars is kind of tickling around there somewhere, but like 1 through 3 are solid. But after that, depending on the day you ask me, Goodfellas will go at number 4, Dazed and Confused at 5, or then they'll switch, or then Jaws will come in at number 4. It just depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But the important thing is the Dark Knight is in there for all of us. Would it be in your top 10, Brendan? Dark Knight, top 10?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the same as you. It's in the conversation. Like, Begins and Dark Knight are both, they're probably the 2 Batman movies that would be in that favorite movie of all time conversation. Because it's not just relying on nostalgia like Batman Forever, Casino Royale, it's Rear Window, Ghostbusters, it's Moulin Rouge. You know, again, you hold the gun to my head. I really can't. They're all my, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, I just can't decide because I love them all so much, but for different reasons, and they're all brilliant. And I can't pick just one.
They're like potato chips. You can't have just one.
No.
You probably can't have any.
You can always tell somebody who truly loves movies because, like, just for an example, the Real Fans group on Facebook, the first question that's asked is like, what's your favorite movie? You know, we're trying to weed out bots by putting these questions in there, but more often than not, the response that comes in out of there, I'm going to say probably 70% of the time is there's too many. I can't pick just one.
Right?
So, you know, I get it. I totally understand.
Yep. All right. Well, happy 15 years of The Dark Knight. And for everybody out there, hope you guys enjoyed the celebration, you know, from our belated celebration here on Holy BatCast. And then, you know, every other nerdy podcast out there celebrated 15 years of The Dark Knight. Yeah, I love the anniversaries, though, because it does give us an excuse and a reason to go back and revisit it and remind ourselves how damn good it is. If we're not watching it every 6 months like Jamie, it's great. The anniversaries give us that little poke in the butt that we need to watch it again and go, oh my God, yes, it's so good.
Give you a poke in the butt.
What?
I'll give
What?
you a poke.
Hey.
And we've got another one to come this year too, don't forget.
Yeah, I'll give you a poke in the butt chin. What?
We've got another one to come this year as well.
Do we?
Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And then I was just thinking,
We've done a commentary on that already.
Have we ever done a
Have
commentary?
we done a commentary on that?
I don't think we have we?
Yes.
Oh,
we?
shit. I better go back and look.
You better
Did
check
we
the
do one for
records.
the
I'm
25th,
like
did we?
90% sure we've done a commentary for that.
Oh, my God. I don't remember. Brendan's usually the one who reminds me what we've done.
I didn't know if we had or not. Maybe we did for the 25th.
I'll go back and
I can't
look.
remember.
Guys, it's been almost 3 hours. Let's wrap this shit up. I love you guys, but seriously. Anyway, it was super fun. Love it. Great movie. Super fun to revisit it. And yeah, awesome. We'll do it again in 5 more years for the 20th. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's let everybody listen to something else for a change. They're tired of hearing us talk or tired of us sitting in silence watching The Dark Knight. So Brendan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook and X, Loey007, or you know, in the Real Fan groups on Facebook, as always, skulking around in there, watching movies and taking the piss out of people, I guess.
Some men just want to watch the world burn. You can find me on Facebook and X Tube.
Okay.
Well, speaking of Twitter/X, I realized today that Jamie has gone missing again.
Yeah, Jamie's done with that. There's too much bullshit on there. I just can't.
You know, I don't blame you. It's all good. That's why I'm on Letterboxd making random lists of stuff.
Yeah. I do Letterboxd. I started an OnlyFans page, so, you know.
Join the party, pal.
Is it just you sitting down watching
That's
the Dark Knight?
the Holy BatCast OnlyFans.
We're probably missing an audience there. There's probably...
Oh, God, help anyone who would pay for that. So yeah, Jamie, you're pretty much, you know, Letterboxd,
the Real Fans groups on Facebook, you know,
Yeah.
this show, but that's pretty much it. I'm so over I'm using air quotes here because air quotes good for radio, conversations that are taking place out there. Guys, life's too short to be angry all the time. It is.
Yeah.
I know I'm the last person in the world, many of you who've listened for a long time, you would ever hear say that, but it's true.
When the Hulk tells other people that they get angry too much, you know we're in trouble.
Yeah. This Hulk's only interested in getting smashed, not smashing now. So
Good for you. You're like Endgame Hulk.
yeah, except less annoying.
When I met you, you were Avengers Hulk. Now you're Endgame Hulk. All right.
More
Well,
like She-Hulk. You know, I've got my shit together.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for listening and checking out the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Please also rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. That would be great. As we are talking, there is a new DC movie coming out in theaters, Blue Beetle. So my hunch is you're not going to have to wait very long to hear us again talk about Blue Beetle. So stay tuned.
Spoilers. I saw it today.
I'm seeing it tomorrow. So
I'll see it in a month.
So for everyone who listens, but they skip the Brendan episodes, this next one's going to be for you. Anyway, visit holybatcast.com and find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, which we will get to in an episode very soon, the email address is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And don't forget to check out our friends and sponsors over at manscaped.com. Go there, do some shopping, and if you're going to make a purchase, use that promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. But that'll do it. On behalf of Brendan and Jamie, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. Same dark time. Same night channel.
It's the channel you deserve, but not the one you need.
It is. That's the Holy BatCast OnlyFans channel. It's the channel you deserve, but you need. No, you don't deserve, but you know what I'm saying. It's a channel nobody should watch. That's what I'm going with. Condensed milk.
I feel like that's going to be going on for a minute.
Just us pouring condensed milk over ourselves.
Like Batman and Rachel.
And like pour some sugar on me playing in the background, and we're all in slow motion.
Alfred's gonna hate this.